CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 13 in the search for Nancy Guthrie, and officials have released a detailed profile of the masked suspect seen on doorcam video this week. The FBI describes him as 5'9" or 10 with an average build. It's released an enhanced photo of his black Ozark backpack. The agency's also asking people who live nearby to recheck video from dates before the 84-year-old was kidnapped. Retired FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole.
Talking to the other neighbors and getting their camera footage is extremely important because I believe that he has been in that neighborhood before.
The FBI's increased the reward for information to $100,000. The country's staring at another partial government shutdown tomorrow, this time over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Senate Democrats have blocked a bill hoping for concessions from the White House on immigration enforcement. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Unless there are really strong, meaningful reforms to rein in ICE and stop the violence, there will not be Democratic votes to fund ICE and extend the awful status quo that now exists.
Another exit after revelations from the Epstein files. The latest, the general counsel at Goldman Sachs. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Catherine Rumler, who served as White House counsel under President Obama, met with Jeffrey Epstein more than 20 times. In an email exchange with someone whose name was redacted, Rumler said she adored Epstein and likened him to an older brother. The exchanges between Rumler and Epstein took place several years after he pleaded guilty to prostitution charges in Florida in 2008. 3 years ago, Rumler said she regretted ever knowing Epstein.
NASA and SpaceX launched a new mission to the International Space Station this morning. The 4 crew members will replace the team that returned early last month because one of them had a medical emergency. CBS News contributor Christian Davenport.
NASA's been eager to bring the space station up to its full contingent of 7 astronauts, and with the previous crew returning early, Chris Williams has been the lone NASA astronaut on the American side of the space station.
They're expected to arrive there tomorrow. Former CNN host Don Lemon scheduled to be arraigned in federal court in Minnesota today, along with 4 other defendants indicted for filming a protest inside a Baptist church in St. Paul, where an ICE enforcement official serves as pastor.
It is notable that no career prosecutors in the Department of Justice signed on to this case, that there had to be special appointments for people who would go ahead and bring the case against Don Lemon.
Loyola Law's Lori Levinson. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got clear skies, 33 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And good morning. I'm Michael Calhoun.
This Saturday, tens of thousands of people are going to fill the streets of Soulard for the 47th annual Bud Light Grand Parade.
Soulard Mardi Gras Foundation's Bess McCoy says there are more than 3 miles of barricades and 150 concrete barriers. That means don't plan on taking any kind of vehicle into Soulard, golf carts or cars, or even those e-scooters. They'll all be disabled.
There are 4 pedestrian entrances and 5 rideshare pickup points. Outdoor liquor sales stop at 6. Soulard bars close at 11:30. Staging for Saturday's parade is moved to 4th Street between Shelter and Walnut. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says they will have mutual aid from St. Louis County Police and Missouri Highway Patrol.
On Saturday, we'll have an entire city and dozens of neighborhoods to protect and 911 calls to respond to. In Soulard, there will be officers you see and officers you don't see.
Tracy adds, if you're under 21, don't come to Soulard to think you can drink.
We'll have underage drinking task force out to monitor and enforce the law.
You cannot bring glass bottles or cans, and if you carry a purse or bag, it should be small and see-through. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Residents of St. Louis are behind $14 million on their city water bills.
And that number continues to rise after a temporary pause on water shutoffs for residents who deferred their payments was lifted last fall. A temporary assistance program is now available for most city residents with overdue bills. Special Assistant to the City Water Commission, Spencer Gould, said that the one-time assistance could total up to $500.
It's available to essentially bridge that gap for customers who may be behind in bills to get to a place where they can pay them regularly.
The program is being paid for with ARPA funds. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
The state auditor's office is going over state-issued purchasing cards.
The state auditor's office is looking at purchasing cards issued to thousands of state employees across 25 agencies. Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says $100 million in taxpayer funds are spent each year through use of the cards. So he says it's a good idea to look at the records and look for any possible fraud, waste, or abuse. Sue Danielson, Missouri Net.
It is now 6:05. Governor Mike Kehoe says he is very optimistic about keeping the Royals in Missouri. Washington Square Park, just south of Union Station near Crown Center in Kansas City, has emerged as the leading site contender because it avoids a controversy that killed the previous Crossroads proposal.
Unlike that failed plan, which would have meant demolishing historic small businesses, the Washington Square site near Crown Center uses mostly open green space and existing parking lots. The governor tells Fox 2.
I think that's very important to us and to them, and I'm very optimistic that the Royals will continue to call Missouri home.
The downtown site may offer the best path forward now that suburban options in Clay County stalled out over tax funding disputes.
Illinois lawmakers are weighing changes to how sports betting is taxed and how it's defined in the state. We get more from Glenn Marshall.
House Gaming Committee Chair Daniel Didick has introduced legislation to eliminate the per-bet surcharge placed on mobile sports books. The fee requires operators to pay 25 to 50 cents per wager at the end of each fiscal year. And according to Endgame, the surcharge has generated more than $62 million since it was added to the state's budget last year. Now, Didact is also backing a proposal to expand the definition of sports wagering. The measure would include prediction markets tied to games or even the individual player statistics. That means activities like trading or selling event-based contracts could fall under Illinois sports betting regulations.
Missouri lawmakers in both parties are backing plans to track repeat domestic violence offenders. One of them comes from Democratic Representative Rachel Prouty of St. Louis County. She says her bill would require anyone with more than one domestic abuse conviction to register with the state, giving communities a clearer way to identify habitual offenders.
This is not about retribution, shame, or embarrassment, but like I said this morning, if that's what these individuals feel when placed on this registry, that is an appropriate feeling for them to have, because treating individuals like this is shameful.
Southwest Missouri Republican Ann Kelly is sponsoring a similar bill. She says the registry is urgently needed to guard communities from habitual domestic abusers, a need underscored by the horrific murder of 12-year-old Adriana Horton of Golden City by a repeat abuser.
From the KMOX business desk, a restaurant chain trading convenience for quality.
At other burger places, before you even get there, they got a burger waiting on you.
Steak and Shake, known for its steak burgers and milkshakes, is getting rid of microwaves. Social media posts state quality restaurants don't need them. Eat real food. It says all locations will be microwave-free by April 15th. The Indianapolis-based chain made another big change last March. Following Health Secretary Kennedy's advice, it switched from seed oils to beef tallow in its friolators. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
2 minutes away from traffic and weather. Together, it's 6:08.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide, our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, and you are listening to Total Information AM on this Friday the 13th. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Michael Calhoun and Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we continue to see light roadways out there this morning on a Friday. That's great news into downtown St. Louis, delay-free. Crossing the Musial Veterans Bridge on westbound Highway 70. Northbound 55 looks good this morning from South County, headed through South City. The road construction zone's not slowing you down either. Headed eastbound on Highway 64, eastbound on Highway 70. Delay-free coming in from St. Charles County to St. Louis County. Our next traffic update at 6:20. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today and a nice day with a warmer afternoon, the high 63. Clouds will increase tonight, though 40. Tomorrow will be cloudy and noticeably cooler. We'll have rain much of the time from late morning on, the high 48. The rain will continue early tomorrow night before ending late, the low 41. Clouds give way to more and more sunshine Sunday. It turns warmer again, the high 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At least for the moment, it's a clear sky and 33 in St. Peters and Florissant. Also 33 downtown at the Arch. The news continues at 6:11 on Total Information AM. The group Save Lives Now is hoping to make a dent in the amount of violent crime in this region.
Executive Director Brandon Sterling tells KMOX the St. Louis region is like most big city environments. The amount of people determined to be most at risk of shooting someone or being shot is relatively few.
Gangs or groups of people are small, and most violence is actually occurring between people that know each other or, again, has some group associations. The degrees of separation are pretty small.
Sterling says they've deployed street outreach teams in the city and county as well as St. Clair County to meet people where they are and not judge. They simply offer them ways to get where they want to go in life despite all that's happened in their past. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Missouri lawmakers in both parties are backing plans to track repeat domestic violence offenders. We have just brought you that story. It is seemingly rare in Washington these days, a bipartisan push to do something for consumers, but that's what's happening with Missouri Senator Josh Hawley and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. The Republican and Democrat on opposite ends of the political spectrum are going after pharmacy benefit managers. Congressional reporter Torian Small.
They say at the end of the day, what we're seeing is a lack of competition, increase in prices, and in their minds, less and less quality health care.
One of the biggest pharmacy benefit managers, Express Scripts, is based in North St. Louis County. Small says the two lawmakers face an uphill battle in getting their bill through both chambers of Congress and for President Trump to sign it into law. 6:13 will get you to Joe Pott. Get a check of sports up next on TIAM.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
I'm Larry Magid with the Connect Safely Report. If you've listened to the Connect Safely Report in the past, you may have heard advice from Connect Safely Education Director Carrie Gallagher, who is a veteran educator and the mother of 2 teenagers. For Safer Internet Day, which took place on February 10th, she, along with PTA Ambassador Mickey Wilson, recorded a 1-hour webinar with a lot of good advice, including
information about financial scams that target teens and how AI is making them more convincing, how algorithms shape what teens see in their feed based on factors like age and gender, and how to communicate with your kids about this, how your family can talk about extremist content and the difficult news we see in the media,
and plenty of other good advice. You can watch the video or listen to the podcast at connectsafely.org/radio. With the Connect Safely Report, I'm Larry Magid for CBS News.
News
out of Jupiter as Cardinals pitchers and catchers have their first official workouts of the spring. And we hear from the Cards president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. As for Bloom, he expressed excitement and gratitude when it comes to the renovated spring training facilities in Jupiter.
This is awesome. I'm really happy for our long-term Cardinals who have been here in this facility for years, decades, and who saw a few different false starts before we could get to this point, and just to see how they felt. I mean, I got to do this on Monday, and then you see people come in here and they're walking through like kid in a candy store, just looking at everything. But for people who literally have spent decades of their lives in this facility, to see this day come, albeit there's still plenty of work being done, is amazing to me just how much in the last week we were able to complete here. But there's a lot of excitement, really a lot of gratitude when you think about certainly all the public officials that made this happen in the county, the city, the state, our people, our ownership group, the DeWitt family, Dan Good. Mo spent so much time in the planning of this facility. I texted him the first day I was here, like, this place looks great. We know there's still some things we're ironing out. There's construction still ongoing, and some things in the building you kind of learn what they're for once you live in it for a couple weeks, but it's great. I mean, the reviews have been amazing, and it just opens up a lot more opportunity for us to really do this the way we want to do it.
Bloom also was asked about the status of outfielder Lars Nootbaar, who is recovering after heel surgeries.
He's on track, but there's a part of the progression he's on now involves a piece of equipment that, because of the newness of the complex, we don't have here yet. So we actually want him to complete that progression. So he's going to do that at the facility that he's at in Southern California, and then come here, actually, so we can keep him on track. So he'll be a couple days late for full squad. He'll come after the first full squad workout, but not because of any setback, just so we can keep him on track with the progression he's on.
Well, tonight here on KMOX, it's Billikens basketball. The 18th ranked Bills are in Chicago to face Loyola. Billikens are 23-1 overall, 11-0 in the Atlantic 10. And they've won 17 consecutive games. It's a 7:30 tip-off, and you'll hear it beginning with the pregame show at 7:15 with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. College basketball last night, SIUE routs Southeast Missouri 74-56 in Edwardsville. Lindenwood knocks off league-leading Tennessee Martin 75-74. Lindenwood, SIUE, and SEMO all tied now at 11-5, one game back of the leaders in the Ohio Valley Conference. SIUE will host UT Martin tomorrow at 3:30 in Edwardsville. SEMO will be at Lindenwood at 3:30 in St. Charles. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
In afternoon programming for American radio. The program is called At Your Service.
Among those voices, Mike Kelly.
Kaufman at the 11. Kaufman hurdles man at the 5, fighting for the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri!
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Deldon, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Amy,
Yes.
I have a real beef with bathroom doors in hotels. The stupid sliding door. No, give me a fully shut door, because the sliding door, you know what happens? There's always a gap.
There's a gap.
And so if you have a partner with you in the hotel room, there are sounds and smells and steam.
It puts a new meaning to the word butt crack.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20 and time for us to get a road check and a weather check, because we've got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Let's see what Frank Ladd is looking at in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we just had a new crash called out, Highway O at Hillsborough Road, so use some caution there. Other than that, not bad out there on the highways, kind of delay-free and incident-free, headed eastbound on Highway 44, coming in from Eureka through Valley Park up to 270. Similar story northbound on Highway 55, not seeing any issues now. Headed through the road construction zone through South City towards downtown St. Louis. North County looks good as well. Westbound on Highway 270, crossing the Chain of Rocks Bridge, headed up towards 170. Eastbound Highway 64, eastbound Highway 70, delay-free coming in from St. Charles County to St. Louis County. Our next traffic update at 6:30. Frank Ladd of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And a look at that forecast from meteorologist Joe Lundberg at AccuWeather. Today should be a nice day with a warm afternoon. The sun out, high 63 degrees. Not too bad tonight, low temperature of about 40. And for tomorrow, if you're going to Mardi Gras, there will be some periods of rain from late morning on. Hopefully it waits until about afternoon after the parade gets over with. And we've got a high of 48 degrees for tomorrow, so bring a jacket as well. Sunday's high, 63. And then Monday and Tuesday, close to 70. Right now it's a clear sky, 33 downtown at the Arch.
It is now 6:21. Actor James Van Der Beek's death this week at the age of 48 to colon cancer is raising awareness both about the disease and why more young people today are being diagnosed with it. AMOX health editor Fred Bottomer spoke to Dr. William Chapman about it. He's a Washington University colorectal surgeon with Siteman Cancer Center at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
Well, it's becoming much more common, and that is one of the really concerning features, that stories like this bring up. When you think about colon cancer, it is still the most common in folks who are older, 60 and above. But what we have seen over the past several decades is that while the incidence of colon cancer in those older folks is going down, there is a concerning trend in the rise of colon cancer for younger patients.
Why is that?
That's the million or billion dollar question. We really don't have a great grasp on what's causing this increase for young folks. And there are lots of theories out there, from things like dietary changes that have happened over the past 30 to 40 years to microplastics or other environmental factors, as well as changes in our behavior. In general, especially in the Western world, we tend to lead more sedentary lives. There's also the rise of certain other medical comorbidities like obesity or diabetes that may be linked to this as well. But I'll tell you, I see more and more folks who are young coming down with this disease. And, these people come from all walks of life and in all shapes and sizes. There really isn't a clear pattern that we've identified yet.
So then let's talk about awareness. When should someone schedule their first colonoscopy?
Well, it depends a little bit on their risk factors. And we are doing a lot of research, both here in St. Louis as well as nationally and internationally, to try and better understand who's most at risk for this. We know that if you have a family member who has a history of colon cancer, your risk is elevated. If that family member was under 50, then we recommend any of those family members who are primary relatives to start their screening colonoscopies 10 years before the date or the age at which that patient was diagnosed with their cancer. So if you had a brother who was diagnosed with colon cancer at 48, we'd recommend all other siblings to start their screening colonoscopies at 38. And same goes for the children of that patient as well. But there's also, a lot of uncertainty around other risk factors. So while the government and national organizations right now recommend for everyone to start at 45, it is important to pay attention to some of these other family-related factors, which may mean that you need those scopes sooner.
How frequently should they be done?
There's a little bit of variation there too. A lot of times we will base the recommendation for your next colonoscopy on what was found at that first scope. So if you're an average person with no family or other known risk factors and you get your first colonoscopy at 45 and it's clean or there's no abnormalities, then usually we recommend folks go 7 to 10 years before their next one. On the other hand, if you've got polyps or other precancerous type changes in the colon, we're going to be doing that scope sooner. And just how soon really depends on what we find and how many polyps, for example, might be there.
Does it have to be a colonoscopy? Are there other options that you like?
There are multiple options. And what I would say to patients who ask me that question is something is better than nothing. There are a series of different stool-based tests that either look for pieces of cancer DNA within the stool or look for things like blood products in the stool, which should not normally be there, and might serve as an early indicator that something has changed and that person needs to come in for a scope. That being said, nothing is as effective as a colonoscopy, where we can really look at what exactly is happening inside the colon.
And if you see something in the colon, you can take care of it right away.
Exactly. So if you do one of these stool-based tests and it comes back positive, well, now you got to get set up for the colonoscopy and go through the whole deal. If you start with the colonoscopy at the beginning, it's a one-shot, test, and we can intervene at the same time. And I think it's really important to stress to folks that taking out polyps is preventive. I mean, these are lesions that left to their own devices will turn into a cancer at some point. So that colonoscopy is not only telling you, what risk factors you might have for developing a cancer in the future, but it's also helping prevent something from turning into a cancer.
It is now 6:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
When it's time to replace your appliances, Lowe's has you covered. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members get more like free delivery, haul away, basic installation and parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan where you spend $2,500 or more on select major appliances. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 2/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Florida. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Last month, my business cash flow got tight. Sales were slow, invoices were late, and payroll was coming fast. My business is everything, and people rely on me. I can't let them down. I applied online at lendseek.com and had business funding in 24 hours.
Business moves fast. Don't wait until it's too late. Whether it's lines of credit, term loans, working capital funding, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply now at LENDSEEK.com.
Join us on February 15th at Powell Hall as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC brings us Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner, presented by Purina, with special guests Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes and Kennedy Holmes. Experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we have clear skies, 32 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And good morning. I'm Michael Calhoun. Let's get you going out the door with Frank Ladd and for Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Michael, it's a car into a ditch, Highway O at Hillsborough Road. So use some caution there. Headed northbound on Highway 55, seeing a little more pocket of volume approaching that work zone near the River to Pear. North there, pretty good run through downtown St. Louis. A few more headlights and taillights northbound on Highway 270 as well, passing Tesson Ferry and Gravois, approaching Highway 44. North of there, not seeing too many delays, headed towards Highway 64. We are delay-free into downtown St. Louis, westbound on 5564, crossing the Poplar. Our next traffic update at 6:40, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a beautiful day today with mostly sunny skies and a high of 63, but the clouds move in tonight. And by tomorrow, we're looking at a cloudy day with a high of just 48. The issue really is the periods of rain from late morning on. So we're crossing our fingers that everything will go all right with the Mardi Gras parade, but just be prepared if you're heading out there to Soulard. It's 33 degrees with clear skies right now.
We are still in a drought. AccuWeather long-range meteorologist Paul Pastelok tells us the 18-plus inches of snow that we've gotten doesn't really help.
We need moisture in the ground, and I think we're going to see a big reversal this spring right here in our neck of the woods. This whole area is going to see a big change. We should see an increase of moisture starting here in February and continuing all the way into the spring season.
A St. Louis contractor says the city is shorting his company $25,000 after they plowed the streets during last month's snowstorm. Jay Johnson is the assistant manager at King's Auto Repair. He tells the Post he'll never do business with the city again. Johnson says he missed out on other work to only get paid for 6 of the 12 hours his company stood on standby while waiting for instructions on January 25th.
Now, the St. Louis City Mayor's new operations chief says he was not aware of those promises. He says the company is already being paid more than $100,000 for plowing the streets, and that is in addition to 6 hours of standby time.
State Senator Ram Villavalam is sponsoring a new bill called the Power Act, introduced Wednesday, that aims to protect Illinois water, energy, and ratepayers from the threats posed by data centers. It would require data centers to bring new clean energy resources to the grid and would prohibit them from shifting infrastructure and capacity costs onto everyday consumers.
By establishing policies that ensure data centers, not consumers, bear the increasing energy costs and critical protections for our environment and sustainable water use, we can work towards a future built for technology to support our daily lives, not deplete our resources and price us out of our homes.
This newscast is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll get a check on your money up next.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
It is now 6:34. Thanks for tuning into Total Information AM on this Friday the 13th. I'm Debbie Monterey along with Michael Calhoun. We'll check in with Frank Ladd and Joe Lundberg for traffic and weather here in just about 6 minutes. But first, here's your money report. From Bloomberg, it's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. Another pair of Lululemon pants are being called out for being see-through. Customers are complaining that its heart scatter pants are showing a little too much when bending and squatting. Just weeks ago, the company was in the hot seat after its Get Low line was called out for similar problems. Lululemon ended up pulling the line from its website just days after it was released. The pants returned with added disclaimers that told shoppers to size up and pair the leggings with skin-toned underwear. Yesterday, a sell-off for stocks. Traders continue to worry that developments in artificial intelligence will hurt or even make certain industries irrelevant. The Dow tumbled 669 points. This morning, S&P futures are lower. And Citigroup is raising the pay of CEO Jane Fraser to $42 million, making her among the most highly compensated heads of a bank. The bump is another sign of confidence in her leadership from Citi's board after the company spent years lagging rivals. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It is 6:35. Your vision is not something you should take for granted. Certainly it's easy to until there are issues, but I'll tell you, those issues are much easier to address when you catch them early. You should make an appointment today with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. They are the doctors' doctors because they treat 250 plus doctors. So go where the doctors go. You will have the most thorough eye exam that you've ever had in your life, because getting your eyes checked is about more than reading the eye chart. It is about the health of your eyes. I was diagnosed with dry eye disease, so I thought it was just something annoying that my eyes were always dry. Turned out it was actually affecting my vision. I don't need to wear my glasses anymore because I have been treated by Dr. Ranjan Malhotra with dry eye disease. We've found some drops that are really helping. So don't think that it's, just an irritation. Take care of the health of your eyes. Cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, LASIK, allergic conjunctivitis. They are the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer. Call 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or online right now at youridoc.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. After suffering an injury, you may face many hard questions. What will tomorrow bring? Which firm should I choose to represent me and my family? At Morgan & Morgan, we will hold your hand every step of the way. From our one-click sign-up, mobile apps, and 24/7 availability, we make it easy to get your case started right from the comfort of your couch. All firms are not the same. The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
6:38 on Total Information AM. A special taxing district is in the works in St. Charles. The county council advanced the Trailside Farm Community Improvement District this week. It wouldn't apply to anyone in the county, but property owners within the long-planned Trailside Farm subdivision between Wentzville and O'Fallon, approximately 470 homes.
That subdivision has been on pause for a traffic study. The special tax would fund roads, utilities, and other big-ticket items. Because there was a tie vote in the Planning and Zoning Committee, that proposal needs a supermajority vote of the county council to be approved.
Due to a decline in ridership, funding cuts, and bus driver shortages, St. Charles officials are making some changes to bus service in the city. The Ride STC program that takes people from the city of St. Charles to the Metro Transit Station in Earth City will end on April 1st.
The Charlie bus will see fares go from 50 cents to $2, then increase each year until it hits $5. Both the state of Missouri and the federal government have cut funding and grants for public transit.
Within 60 days is now being sued by the mall for unpaid rent. Fourier opened in the old Weber grill space last year. Owner Mile Tenor said it closed due to theft and inexperienced staff that often failed to show up for work, as well as infrastructure problems. Tenor tells the Post-Dispatch he holds no ill will against the Galleria and will pay that back rent.
It's going on 6:40, and if you have big plans this weekend that it might involve being outdoors, maybe celebrating and seeing a parade, you'll probably want to hear the forecast that Joe Lundberg is going to give us in just a moment. Other than Saturday, the rest of the forecast is actually very lovely. Let's see how traffic is going. Frank Ladd joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
One word, Debbie, lovely. It's a great start to your Friday morning commute. Not seeing delays into downtown St. Louis. Westbound 5564 at the Poplar, westbound 70th and usual. Similar story northbound on Highway 270 now between 5544 and 64. Just fewer headlights and taillights coming up north, passing Gravois and Highway 44. Headed into the work zone, you do have a little off-the-pace pocket northbound on Highway 55 now, and that extends up to about the River to Pear. Other than that, it's a great start to your Friday morning, and we're brought to you by McKelvey Homes. Our next traffic update at 6:50. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
Time for a weather check with our meteorologist, Joe Lundberg at AccuWeather, 6:41 on this Friday morning. And the big, second biggest Mardi Gras in the country comes to climax tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the Grand Parade. And I'm hoping, Joe, that the rain can hold off until, maybe noon or 1 p.m. or so.
It's going to be a close call. There's definitely going to be some rain in the forecast tomorrow afternoon. It's just a question of when it begins. Hopefully it'll hold off until early afternoon, but it's definitely in the forecast for tomorrow. Today, though, we've got sunshine. That'll warm us up to 63. Clouds will be moving in tonight, though 40. The clouds lower and thicken tomorrow morning. And through the late morning and midday hours, the rain will start to move in from the south and west in the afternoon. Just going to be a rainy time period with a high of 48. The rain lingers into tomorrow night before ending. Sunday, though, the clouds yield to some afternoon sunshine. It warms up to 63. And spring-like warmth on Monday. With sunshine, we get to 67. Mid to upper 60s with more clouds around on Tuesday. Right now, it's 36 at St. Peter's, 32 in Florissant, partly cloudy, 39 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. It is now 6:42.
It's Joe Pott back at the Hardee's in South County on Butler Hill. It's the 26th annual Rise and Shine Heat Up St. Louis fundraiser, and I'm visiting with Patrick Smith now, the president of Ameren, Illinois, one of this year's honorary chairs as well. Patrick, it's good to see you, and what a good morning. What a great fundraiser and event this is.
Yes, absolutely. Just glad to be here. First of all, I love Hardee's, and Ameren is a committed partner and a proud sponsor of heatupstlouis.org. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why, how I know personally. Just last December, Ameren donated $250,000 to the organization, $250,000. And guess what? We're here today to donate $200,000 more to this noble cause.
Unbelievable. $450,000 just here in the last few months. And this is something when I was talking to Gentry Trotter earlier, I think there's something about this community, St. Louis, the Metro East, the support that the community gives to one another. And there's no better example of that than an event like this.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's tons of things going on in this community. And one of the things are these safety net agencies that help folks in need. Wintertime, it's tough sometimes paying the bill and doing those type of things, but it's a safety issue. We want to keep our neighbors warm. And we're at Ameren, we have a culture of giving back. So across this region, Metro East, Metro St. Louis, we have coworkers volunteering, helping raise these monetary donations so that we can support this cause and make sure people are warm in the winter.
So you're over here in South County, but as you mentioned, you've got team members that are across the region pitching in today for the Rise and Shine.
Yes, sir. We serve both states, so there are customers, and even if they're not our customers, we want folks to be all right. So we have folks stationed in this Hardy and Hardy's all over the Metro East and St. Louis metropolitan area.
One of the things when I was chatting earlier too is, people might look at it like, oh, this is the people against the energy companies. That's not the case, as you mentioned. This is a partnership, and at Ameren, you want the success of an event like this. You want to be able to benefit this community.
Yes, absolutely. It's sometimes the narratives get switched around a bit, but I'm a customer. My aunt who lives in East St. Louis now, she's a customer, and family members, my neighbors. We want to make sure everyone has this vital resource. We power the quality of life for millions in both states, and we want to make sure that they have access to affordable energy, especially at times like this when the temperatures can be frigid, and it can be a situation where people can be uncomfortable or even unsafe if they don't get this type of assistance.
Well, it's great to visit with you today. We certainly thank Ameren for their support of Heat Up St. Louis. I know you've got your apron on, you're going to be out there with your can, but Patrick, it was good to talk to you again.
Great to see you again.
I got you something extra special for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
How does a blow and go sound?
I like it.
Great. Air Comfort Service will be here on Monday.
Wait, what?
Our attic insulation is in bad shape. Air Comfort Service heating and cooling and insulation can top off our insulation with blow and go and make our home more energy efficient. We can save up to 30% on our energy bills.
I love it when you talk savings to me.
Schedule your blow and go attic installation from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/blow today.
Tonight here on KMOX, it's Billikens basketball. The 18th ranked Bills are in Chicago as they face Loyola Chicago. Billikens are 23-1 and 11-0 in the Atlantic 10. They've won 17 consecutive games. Loyola is just 6-19 overall and 2-10 in the A10. Head coach Josh Schertz talked about the game earlier this week on the Billiken Coaches Show and knows it won't be easy.
Loyola's getting healthy, and that's they're a scary team when they're healthy. Beat Santa Clara, went on the road and got Rhode Island. It should have beat Dayton the next game, and then they had these injury reports that look like books with how many guys out, and now they're healthy. It's going to be a dangerous game. I'll let Kimsey be because he's scouting them his opinion, but I think it's going to be a tough one.
It's a 7:30 tip-off, and you'll hear it beginning with the pregame show at 7:15 with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. College basketball last night, SIUE routs Southeast Missouri 74-56 in Edwardsville. Lindenwood knocks off league-leading Tennessee Martin 75-74. Lindenwood, SIUE, and SEMO are all tied at 11-5, just one game back of the leaders in the Ohio Valley Conference. SIUE will have UT Martin Saturday at 3:30 in Edwardsville, while SEMO will be at Lindenwood at 3:30 in St. Charles. Matt Pauley now from spring training as we hear from Chaim Bloom and the status of Lars Nootbaar.
Cardinals pitchers and catchers go through their first official workout yesterday with the first full squad workout scheduled for Monday. One player who will not be there is Lars Nootbaar as he continues his rehab process in California, according to President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom.
There's a part of the progression he's on now involves a piece of equipment that, because of the newness of the complex, we don't have here yet. So we actually want him to complete that progression. So he's going to do that at the facility that he's at in Southern California and then come here, actually, so we can keep him on track. So he'll be a couple days late.
Even though Nootbaar will miss the start of camp, they have not yet ruled him out for opening day.
We haven't made that determination yet. He's not going to be ready to play in games when games start here. But beyond that, we don't really have a calendar built out. I think once he's been here for a couple weeks, we'll probably have a better idea of what that looks like.
Bloom also says that because of catcher Ivan Herrera's rehab from injury, he may not get the insurance waiver he needs to play for Team Panama in the World Baseball Classic. That situation should sort itself out in the next few days. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
In the Olympics, USA men's hockey has its debut yesterday as they defeat Latvia 5-1. Matthew Tkachuk has a pair of assists for the U.S. Brady Tkachuk scores a goal. One-time Blue Tage Thompson gets a goal and an assist for the U.S. United States continues play in the preliminary round coming up tomorrow where they'll face Denmark. Women's U.S. ice hockey, they will face Italy later today in the quarterfinals. I'm Jill Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert. It'll be fun about those clouds, I'm telling you, baby. With the songs you know by heart. One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50, so let's get you to Frank Ladd, part of Traffic and Weather Together every 10 minutes. And Frank's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And we're sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Reports of emergency vehicles on the scene of an incident northbound on Highway 270, north of Highway 44. The good news is reportedly over on the right shoulder, not seeing any major delays through that stretch there. A little more volume north of there, though, headed up towards Manchester Road on northbound Highway 270. You do have that pocket of volume entering the work zone northbound on Highway 55 at South City. Near the River de Pere, north there, pretty good run through South City towards downtown St. Louis. Into downtown, westbound 5564, delay-free, crossing the Poplar. Our next traffic update at 6:58. Frank Ladd, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
A beautiful day in store today. Hope you can get out and enjoy this Friday the 13th with mostly sunny skies and a high of 63 degrees. The clouds start moving in tonight, and by tomorrow, a cloudy day with periods of rain from late morning on. Now, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says hopefully it moves in after the parade, but just be prepared. We're talking about Mardi Gras, of course. High of 48 tomorrow, and the rain will continue into tomorrow night as well. Currently, we've got clear skies, 32 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
As the news continues at 6:52, does Olympic apparel really give athletes an edge? Mark McQuilling, professor of aerospace and mechanical engineering at SLU, tells KMOX that's why there's so much attention to the kind of fabrics that are used in apparel for skiers, bobsledders, and speed skaters. McQuilling says some fabrics have dimples like golf balls, and that gives them more speed.
Some of the suits that they wear nowadays have little what they call transition strips on the sides, right, before that flow goes across the body and can create a big wake. If they have little transition strips on the side of their suit, it can decrease the size of the wake behind their body and produce less drag.
McQuilling says some international athletes have recently been accused of cheating for adding extra fabric to create a sail to enhance their results.
A huge draw to St. Louis for the events here. Not a bad for an outdoor festival, certainly one in February.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer hitting on the economic benefits that Soulard's Mardi Gras celebration brings.
More than $200 million of economic activity across the region is attributed to the Mardi Gras celebrations. We are, of course, the second largest in the United States.
Spencer says that is good for business, good for the community, good for future residents who often attend the Mardi Gras celebration and decide they want to live here.
Free donuts might help to chase away superstitions at one national chain today. Jesse Mitchell says it might also help serve as a last-minute gift for your Valentine.
Americans are expected to spend a record $29 billion to celebrate Valentine's Day this weekend. But Krispy Kreme is hoping donut lovers will also stop by today to mark Friday the 13th. 13,000 customers could receive a coupon for a free dozen original glazed donuts during their store visit. Plus, Krispy Kreme still has its limited edition Valentine's Day flavors through tomorrow.
That's right. Free weddings today at St. Louis City Hall. The Recorder of Deeds is inviting anyone to come tie the knot starting at 10 and ending at 2. There will be a licensed officiant, a decorated ceremony space, and a framed keepsake to commemorate the day. You can bring up to 10 of your closest friends and family. Spaces are limited, so you're advised to call City Hall first to schedule. The ceremony is free, but there is a $60 charge for a marriage license. It is 6:54.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored for you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Remember, if you have a birthday or anniversary you'd like announced, email it to totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Stacy Brandt, Lisa McLaughlin, Mike Conzen, Nancy Korig, Mark Stassi. Happy Valentine's birthday to Maggie Reether from Jeannie. Happy 51st wedding anniversary to Mike and Christine Schmidt. Happy birthday wishes to Libby O'Donnell from Pops and Ham. Blake Simmons from the O'Donnells. Dana Carpel Dirks of Redbud. Happy birthday to you from Mom, Dad, and Brandon. And Sister Mary Beth, your entire family loves you.
This is the best birthday ever.
2 St. Louis icons, 1 legendary tribute. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in St. Louis City, SC at Powell Hall on Sunday, February 15th for Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner. Presented by Purina, with performances by special guests including conductor Anthony Partner, Grammy Award-winning artist Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes, and our city's own Kennedy Homes. This is your chance to experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and mention the KMOX special. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get you to the top of the hour with Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're seeing volume headed northbound on Highway 270, but not stop and go now between 55, 44, and 64. So that's the good news. That incident out of the way over on the right shoulder, northbound on Highway 270, just north of Highway 44. So that's good news as well. Into downtown St. Louis, delay free, westbound 55, 64, crossing that Poplar Street Bridge, westbound Highway 70. The Musial looks good as well. Up in North County, haven't had any incidents up near the Chain of Rocks Bridge, westbound on Highway 270, between there and the Interbelt. Coming in from St. Charles County, eastbound Highway 70 looks good so far this morning between Lake St. Louis, Highway 79 to the Blanchette Bridge. Eastbound Highway 64, similar story between Lake St. Louis and Highway 94, the Boone Bridge. Eastbound Highway 44, no problems to report coming in from Pacific, Eureka, all the way through Valley Park and the 270 interchange. Our next traffic update at 7:10. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, February 13th. I'm Debbie Monterey. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer says with this year's Mardi Gras celebration comes more than $200 million in economic benefits.
Tens of thousands of people will be descending upon Soulard here in the next few days.
More on that coming up.
Residents of the city owe about $14 million on water bills.
It's available to essentially bridge that gap for customers who may be behind in bills to get to a place where they can pay them regularly.
More information about temporary assistance at 7:04.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A nice day today with sunshine and a warmer afternoon. Our high 63.
More on the search for Nancy Guthrie coming up from CBS News.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez, and they're off.
And liftoff. Freedom flies bound for the International Space Station.
SpaceX launched a crew today to replace the one that came home early after one member got sick. Correspondent Mark Strassman watched from Kennedy Space Center.
There are two Americans, Jessica Meir and Jack Hathaway, a French astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut. They're scheduled for roughly an 8-month stay on the ISS, and they'll join 3 other crew members on the space station.
Among their planned experiments, a filter designed to turn drinking water into emergency IV fluid. A reclassification for the masked armed man seen on doorbell cam video from Nancy Guthrie's home the night she was kidnapped. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is in Tucson.
The FBI now describing this suspect as a male, 5'9" to 5'10", of average build. His backpack, an Ozark trail hiker. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI.
California's Attorney General has opened a civil rights investigation into the response to last year's deadly Eaton fire.
Rob Bonta wants to know if race, age, or disability discrimination played a role in the delayed evacuation and fire response for historically black West Altadena, where almost all of the Eaton fire's 19 deaths occurred.
To evaluate if the processes and systems are failing certain communities, to make sure no rights were violated, no laws broken, and to take action if they were.
Zaire Calvin welcomes the investigation. He survived the fire, but his sister died.
We were just kind of left for ourselves to fend.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A prediction after the EPA repealed the science used as the basis for climate regulation. Environmental correspondent David Schechter.
It's highly likely that you'll see this go to the Supreme Court. And I think the administration will probably just move forward, as they have many times when they've sort of changed the rules. They'll start making some changes.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore's opening up on his exclusion from a meeting at the White House on the sidelines of the National Governors Association annual conference next week. He spoke to Nora O'Donnell for a CBS News town hall Sunday.
You are vice chair of that group, and yet President Trump has said that you are not invited because, in his words, you're, quote, not worthy. Why do you think President Trump has singled you out?
Well, I can't speak to the president's heart. I can speak to his actions. And I do want to be clear to the president respectfully. You do not determine my worthiness. God determines my worthiness. The people of Maryland determine my worthiness. And I have been very clear with the people of my state that I will work with anyone, but I will bow down to no one. And I think the president has a problem with that.
This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable Speeds to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness, so you can smell unstoppable.
It's 7:04. We've got some sun out there, 32 degrees downtown at the Arch on this Friday the 13th. Total Information AM. I'm Michael Calhoun.
And I'm Debbie Monterey.
Just a tremendous economic impact that the festivities bring for St. Louis. It's good for businesses. It's good for our community.
That is St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer, who says with that comes more than $200 million in economic benefits for the region, not just Soulard.
This is an enormous team effort. The city is grateful and honored to be a part here. But Mardi Gras Inc., thank you so much. And the Mardi Gras Foundation.
The Mardi Gras Foundation supports nonprofits around the region, and for many of them, it's their biggest fundraising day. In the last 24 years, the foundation has funded nearly $700,000 in community improvement grants, and this year it will support the city's tornado recovery efforts.
Residents of the city owe about $14 million in deferred water bills.
This comes after a temporary pause on water shutoffs was lifted last fall. The pause was put in place in 2020 due to the pandemic. Special Assistant to the City Water Commissioner, Spencer Gould.
It's available to essentially bridge that gap for customers who may be behind in bills to get to a place where they can pay them regularly.
A temporary assistance program is now available with ARPA funds. Gould said the one-time assistance could total up to $500 for residents who are eligible. He says the program could assist 2,000 residents, and he's hopeful the success of this program will lead to another grant in the future.
We do have funds going quickly, so we recently expanded our household income, and we're seeing that number go down quick. So I would tell anyone, if they have a delinquent bill or we think this program might assist them, to apply sooner than later before it's all utilized.
Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
The state auditor's office is reviewing purchasing cards issued to state employees.
Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says $100 million in taxpayer funds are spent each year through use of the cards provided to thousands of state employees. He says while the purchasing cards allow agencies to make small purchases, he says it's important to make sure the cards are being used appropriately. The state of Missouri first started issuing purchasing cards to state employees over 20 years ago. Today, the program is used by more than 25 state agencies, and state policy requires each new card holder to undergo training before getting the card, and existing card holders must undergo training each year. Sue Danielson, Missouri Net.
A state senator from Chicago says it's time for Illinois to step in and preserve access to the ballot box as federal courts re-examine a pioneering civil rights law. Here's Jeff Buchholz from Chicago.
Democracy does not run on autopilot.
And Senate Democrat Graciela Guzman says Illinois needs to take the wheel and write into state law the protections of the Federal Voting Rights Act, which she says is being eroded by more than a decade of rulings by the U.S. Supreme Court.
When the federal government steps back from protecting our democracy, Illinois will step forward.
Her Illinois Voting Rights Act would, among other things, make it more difficult to redraw electoral maps to exclude various groups and would codify ballot access for non-English speakers. Connor Kozichek is with the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights.
Our elections and our democracy are stronger when every voter has equitable access to the ballot box and have their voice heard.
New York, Colorado, and several other states have already passed similar legislation.
From the KMOX business desk, Governor Mike Kehoe says the fractured relationship between Kansas City and state leaders has been repaired, and that unity is now the key to keeping the Kansas City Royals in Missouri. He tells Fox 2 the infighting of the past has been replaced by a team effort to get a stadium deal done.
Working very hard on the Royals. Great conversations with the leadership group and the leadership ownership themselves. City of Kansas City, Jackson County, and the state of Missouri are speaking in one voice to the Royals organization.
Kehoe says they're focused on a financial package for a site at Washington Square Park, and they hope to do that before the legislative session ends.
We'll get you traffic and weather together coming up at 7:10. That's in 2 minutes at 7:08.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Hypnosis can help. Join the over 500,000 people who have attended Mark Patrick Hypnosis with great weight loss results. Mark Patrick Hypnosis will be in St. Louis on Saturday, March 7th.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about dessert.
Only $59.99. Lose all the weight you want. 100% guaranteed. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis, 11 a.m. Registration, 10:30 a.m. Attend this program and find out how the power of hypnosis can help you achieve your weight loss goals. There's limited seating, so get there early. Learn more at markpatrickseminars.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, let's get you caught up here on your ride in on this beautiful Friday morning. Traffic and weather time at 7:10, starting here with Roger Brand's off today, but Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we just had a call for a crash South Broadway at South 7th Street, so use some caution there. Other than that, on the highways, a great run northbound on Highway 270 now between Gravois and 44, headed all the way up through to Highway 64, north and southbound 170 look good as well this morning. Northbound headed towards 270, southbound towards 64, into downtown St. Louis, delay-free, westbound 5564, crossing the Poplar. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic. Our next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly sunny and pleasant today and turning milder this afternoon, high 63, increasing clouds tonight, low 40. Cloudy and much cooler tomorrow with rain from late morning on, high 48. We'll have rain tomorrow night, ending late, the low 41. Sunday, clouds break for sunshine. It turns warmer again, the high 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got the sun rising. It's 33 in St. Peters and Florissant, 32 downtown at the Arch.
It is currently 7:11.
Joe Pott back at the Hardys in South County, Butler Hills. Senator Carla May is my guest right now as we continue with heatupstlouis.org. Senator, thanks so much for taking some time, but as I've been talking to our guest this morning, this is awesome. When you show up at 5:30 at 6 o'clock in the morning and this place is packed and the drive-thru is packed, and it probably is no surprise to you that this community is stepping up to help one another again.
Yes, the greatest thing that we have in our community and our regional area is the fact that people care about other people and they do their best to help. And just buying a simple sausage biscuit and egg biscuit from Hardee's goes a long way in helping people with their utilities.
The other thing that I think is so important is obviously the support from the corporations, from Ameren, from Commerce, from Anthem, Hardee's obviously, and all that they do that are that make them community partners and regional partners.
Absolutely. And that's the best thing about this area and this region is that the public-private partnership has been what has been stabilizing our community. And it's a great partnership, and it helps when the businesses and the people work together. It creates a wonderful environment and a pleasant place to live. And I'm so excited about all the people who are going to be helped with their utilities. And we just want to remind people today that, there is a QR code if you're looking at your TV, and we want you to scan that QR code with your iPhone and donate. Whatever you decide to donate is going to be a blessing to someone who needs help with their heat this summer.
And Senator, I'm sure that you see this, and when I was speaking to Gentry earlier this morning, this literally affects everybody. It could be a bad month, or it could be a bad couple of weeks, and folks, families have a hard time just meeting their expenses that month. This is where that really helps.
Yes, this is exactly where that helps. Sometimes we have challenging moments, and it's important that we want to make sure that people stay safe. We want to make sure that they stay warm, and we want to make sure, that our community knows, and this is very important. Whatever you give is a blessing to someone else. Just remember that. And we want to, keep everybody safe this winter.
Senator Carla May, thanks so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Joe.
Experts say the worst of the winter cold is likely over. Paul Pastelak is the lead long-range meteorologist at AccuWeather.
The pattern has changed where a lot of storminess now is coming into the west coast, and those storms are ejecting out to the east. But what's happening is most of the cold now is getting locked up in northwest Canada, coming down into the west rather than coming directly at us.
Really taking a look at that forecast, Debbie, over the next several days as we get through the weekend. Next Monday and Tuesday? 67, 69?
Sometimes,
I would say the worst of the cold is over.
Well, yeah, at least for this forecast, it'll make you look at the calendar and ask yourself, wait, what time of year is it? Is it February or April?
All we need is now for the sunset to continue to push back as well.
I have to say, as much as I love snow, I was glad to see this last snowfall melt. I'm good for the winter, I think.
I went through, you're a kid, you love it. Then you're adult, you're like, this is a pain. But I have an SUV now with a snow button.
Mm-hmm.
I love it again. It's fun.
Yeah, I have a slippery mode on my car. And I see other people stuck in a snowbank and I'm like, vroom, vroom, off I go.
I like how we both made the noises at the same time.
It is 7:15.
Well, tonight here on KMOX, it's Billikens basketball. The 18th ranked Bills are in Chicago as they face Loyola Chicago. Billikens are 23-1 and 11-0 in the Atlantic 10. They've won 17 consecutive games. Loyola is just 6-19 overall and 2-10 in the A10. Head coach Josh Schertz talked about the game earlier this week on the Billiken Coaches Show and knows it won't be easy.
Loyola's getting healthy, and that's they're a scary team when they're healthy. Beat Santa Clara. Went on the road and got Rhode Island. It should have beat Dayton the next game. And then they, had these injury reports that look like, books with how many guys out. And now they're healthy. It's going to be a dangerous game. I'll give ZB because he's scouting them his opinion. But I think it's going to be a tough one.
It's a 7:30 tip-off, and you'll hear it beginning with the pregame show at 7:15 with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. College basketball last night, SIUE routs Southeast Missouri 74-56 in Edwardsville. Lindenwood knocks off league-leading Tennessee Martin 75-74. Lindenwood, SIUE, and SEMO are all tied at 11-5, just one game back of the leaders in the Ohio Valley Conference. SIUE will have UT Martin Saturday at 3:30 in Edwardsville, while SEMO will be at Lindenwood at 3:30 in St. Charles.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And by Happy Roof, we always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Cardinals pitchers and catchers go through their first official workout yesterday with the first full squad workout scheduled for Monday. One player who will not be there is Lars Nootbaar as he continues his rehab process in California, according to President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom.
There's a part of the progression he's on now involves a piece of equipment that, because of the newness of the complex, we don't have here yet. So we actually want him to complete that progression. So he's going to do that at the facility that he's at in Southern California and then come here, actually, so we can keep him on track. So he'll be a couple days late.
Even though Nootbaar will miss the start of camp, they have not yet ruled him out for opening day.
We haven't made that determination yet. He's not going to be ready to play in games when games start here. But beyond that, we don't really have a calendar built out. I think once he's been here for a couple of weeks, we'll probably have a better idea of what that looks like.
Bloom also says that because of catcher Ivan Herrera's rehab from injury, he may not get the insurance waiver he needs to play for Team Panama in the World Baseball Classic. That situation should sort itself out in the next few days. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
In the Olympics, USA men's hockey has its debut yesterday as they defeat Latvia 5-1. Matthew Tkachuk has a pair of assists for the U.S. Brady Tkachuk scores a goal. One-time Blue Tage Thompson gets a goal and an assist for the U.S. United States continues play in the preliminary round coming up tomorrow where they'll face Denmark. Women's U.S. ice hockey, they will face Italy later today in the quarterfinals. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM,
KMOX.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Winter is tough on homes. Ice and wind often lead hidden damage you can't see from the ground. Don't wait for the first spring showers to discover a leak. Get the Happy Roofers Spring Readiness Checkup today. We perform a thorough, risk-free inspection to ensure your roof is solid. With our Spring Smile Guarantee, you get guaranteed workmanship and total peace of mind. We always deliver happy endings. Visit thehappyroofer.com or call 314-665-3001.
Here's something I want you to do this weekend. I want you to go to a website, travelwithdebbie.net, and check out this trip that we're going to be taking in September to beautiful Arizona. It's going to be a 5-day Arizona adventure, and I cannot wait. This is scenery that I have not seen before. Even if you have, maybe take a brand new look. We are going to be based in Flagstaff, which I understand in September has cool mountain air and viewer crowds. And then we'll go to Sedona's Red Rock Country. We'll take that historic train along the Grand Canyon and we'll cruise the crystal blue waters of Lake Powell. It'll be like going to another world, but just 5 days and no passport needed. So please join us. You can get all the information if you call 800-383-3131, 800-383-3131, or log on to travelwithdebbie.net. Again, it's our 5-day Arizona adventure in September. But you need to reserve your space now. So work on that this weekend, and we'll see you in Arizona in September. Travelwithdebbie.net.
Join us on February 15th at Powell Hall as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC brings us Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner, presented by Purina, with special guests Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes and Kennedy Holmes. Experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes. And so let's get you to Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
So we're seeing a pocket of volume now westbound on Highway 64 that starts near Hampton, maybe the Tam Avenue overpass, and heads out to a crash near Big Bend. Reportedly over on the right shoulder, though, westbound on Highway 64. West of there, not seeing any issues making your way towards the Interbelt. Eastbound Highway 64 coming in from St. Charles County looks good between Lake St. Louis and Highway 94 and the Boone Bridge. Eastbound Highway 70, similar story, Wentzville through 79 and the Blanchette Bridge. Northbound on Highway 270, still delay-free, 55 to 44, all the way up through to Highway 64. And just that other pocket of volume northbound on Highway 55 entering the work zone, and that's near the River to Pear. Our next traffic update at 7:30, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be really nice today with plenty of sunshine and a high of 63 degrees, but the clouds move in tonight. And by tomorrow, it'll just be a cloudy day with periods of rain from late morning on and a high of 48 degrees. So will it rain on the Mardi Gras parade? Remains to be seen. It's a possibility. Just prepare for that. And the rain should last into tomorrow night before giving way to sunshine again on Sunday. Right now it's sunny and 32 degrees.
We're back at the Hardee's, Butler Hill, Joe Pott. It is the 26th annual Rise and Shine fundraiser for Heat Up St. Louis. And I have Ben Turek. He is the president of the board at Heat Up St. Louis. Ben, how long's it been for you?
Well, I've been on the board for 20 years and board president for 3.
It amazes me, and it probably shouldn't. Every year we get out here at 5 a.m. This place is full. The drive-thru is full. This community wants to help each other.
They really do. They really do. And it's so important. I mean, we experience cold weather. It's getting a little nicer now, but it'll be back. Believe me, it's not over yet. But so many people that suffer with cold that you don't think about. You know, we turn the heat up a little bit and we don't think about it, but some people are making choices on their daily lives based on cost of heating, and they just can't afford it. And that's what Heat Up St. Louis is all about. We want to help people. Hardee's has through all almost 26 years now. Hardee's has given us almost $7 million, which is a lot of money.
And we're talking about close to 2 million people that Heat Up St. Louis has directly served in Missouri and Illinois in the community. And that's the best part about it, is that when folks give to heatupstlouis.org, you don't have to worry about where that money is going. You're literally helping your neighbors.
No, all of the money, every cent of it, goes to St. Louis in our community to help people. We have a 63-member board of directors, and all expenses are donated by that board. So we have no expenses no expenses that eats into that money. It really does stay here.
It's great to see the corporate support as well. Obviously, you're getting support from Ameren, but from Commerce Bank, from Anthem, from all of these companies that folks know also want to be a part of this, also want to be giving large amounts of money.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at Hardee's. First of all, the biscuits are great if you haven't tried a Hardee's biscuit. But the Hardee's is donating all of these biscuits. If you can imagine, we've received $7 million from them. So that's a lot of biscuits that they're helping the community with. And I hope people come out today and buy some biscuits, maybe give us a little tip, more than $1, and we can help even more people.
And Ben, we're in South County, but it's in Hardee's all over the region. It goes all the way to 10:30 this morning, but you can also, as you mentioned, drop some money in the can. There's also the QR code, so it could not be easier.
No, it's very easy. There's a QR code. You can go to heatupstlouis.org, and you can make a donation there. And it's so easy, really, to help people. Today's the day you're thinking about it. Get out and help people. Go to heatupstlouis.org and give some money there. It's just helped so many people, and we really appreciate it.
Ben Turek is the president of the board at heatupstlouis.org. We appreciate the time. It's a great day as always. Thanks for taking some time with us.
Okay, thank you.
Missouri lawmakers in both parties want to track repeat domestic violence offenders. One of the newest proposals comes from the Democratic representative of Kansas City, Tiffany Price. A domestic violence survivor herself, Price wants to establish a statewide registry for persistent domestic violence offenders.
Locally, Kansas City had 19 domestic violence homicides last year. These numbers show the urgent need for preventative measures. Bill 3058 is that step. It ensures warning signs are taken seriously, survivors are supported, and systems provide timely protection.
Similar efforts include a bill from Southwest Missouri Republican Ann Kelly.
The group Save Lives Now is one of the leaders in the effort to reduce violent crime across the St. Louis area.
Its executive director, Brandon Sterling, tells KMOX key components include street outreach and focused deterrence.
This is not about preaching to people. It's not about scaring people. It's about helping them arrive at better choices that they can live with and that they know they can be successful at.
Sterling says some might be surprised, but the stats show the number of people in the region deemed most at risk of shooting someone or being shot is really low, like around 1,500. And the amount of those under age 18 are about 150. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Right now, it is 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Electrical, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
Jefferson Starship, the Runaway Again Tour. Saturday, September 26th, the Family Arena. Also featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section. Firefall. And Orleans. Reserve seats on sale Friday at noon at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Jefferson Starship, featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans. Jefferson Starship, the Runaway Again Tour. Saturday, September 26th, the Family Arena. Also featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section. Firefall. And Orleans. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Jefferson Starship, featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It is now 7:31. The sun is shining in downtown St. Louis. It's 33 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Michael Calhoun, and let's get you to Frank Ladd for a check on the drive. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Michael, MoDOT is reporting the right 2 lanes are closed due to an accident westbound on Highway 64 at Big Bend. That is you backed up to almost the Science Center now, westbound on Highway 64 and passing Forest Park. Into downtown St. Louis, we are delay-free, though, westbound 5564 from the Eads Bridge split all the way up through to the Poplar Street Bridge. The Musial Veterans Bridge looks good as well this morning, westbound on Highway 70. Eastbound Highway 70, eastbound Highway 64, delay-free coming in from St. Charles County to St. Louis County. Our next traffic update at 7:40, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, today is going to be fantastic, and early next week is going to feel like spring. We'll be closing in on 70. In the meantime, today, 63 with mostly sunny skies. The clouds start moving in tonight, and by tomorrow, looks like periods of rain from late morning on. So if you are heading to Mardi Gras and Soulard, just be prepared that it might be a little on the rainy side. 33 degrees with sunshine right now.
State Senator Ron Villafalam is sponsoring a new bill called the Power Act that he says aims to protect Illinois' water, energy, and ratepayers from threats that are posed by data centers. It would require those centers to bring new clean energy resources to the grid and would prohibit them from shifting infrastructure and capacity costs onto everyday consumers.
By establishing policies that ensure data centers, not consumers, bear the increasing energy costs and critical protections for our environment and sustainable water use, we can work towards a future built for technology to support our daily lives, not deplete our resources and price us out of our homes.
Illinois lawmakers are trying to change sports betting taxes and what's considered in sports wagering in the state.
State Rep and House Gaming Chairman Daniel Didick is looking to end sports wagering surcharges, stopping the 25-cent and 50-cent each mobile licensee pays at the end of each fiscal year. According to Endgame, it brought in $62.2 million since Governor J.B. Pritzker added it to the 2025 budget. Rep. Didick also wants to change the Sports Wagering Act to include participation in any prediction market involving sports events or any portion of a sports event or individual performance statistics of athletes. The revision would qualify activities such as offering, listing, soliciting, purchasing, selling, trading, and others as sports wagering. Representative Michael Kelly has co-sponsored both bills.
That is Glenn Marshall. Pre-weddings today at St. Louis City Hall. The Recorder of Deeds is inviting anybody to come tie the knots starting at 10 and ending at 2. They'll have a licensed officiant, a decorated ceremony space, and a framed keepsake to commemorate the day. And you can bring up to 10 of your closest friends and family.
Space is limited, so you're asked to call City Hall first to schedule. The ceremony is free, but there is that $60 charge for a marriage license.
This news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
It is now 7:35, and it's time for your money report. It's sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. There are so many major events in the sports world this year, from the Milan Olympics happening right now to the World Cup, and travelers are on the move. Airbnb issued an upbeat revenue outlook, with the home rental platform seeing strong travel demand ahead. Last year, Airbnb introduced the Reserve Now, Pay Later option that has been pretty popular and helped boost bookings last quarter. Airbnb says it plans to roll out more artificial intelligence features and has pledged to improve the search experience for customers. Checking on your money, stocks are ticking lower this morning as traders get ready for inflation data that will be released before the opening bell. And Hasbro is moving away from traditional toys and focusing even more on video games and the collector card game Magic: The Gathering. The toy maker says collector and adult-oriented businesses tend not to be exposed to tariffs. Imported toys for children have tariffs above 20%. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, covering Cardinals spring training as the Redbirds get ready for a new season.
Listen for Matt's Reports Daily. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting and Happy Roof on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
There is one thing that is definite. There will be thousands and thousands of people, whether for the parade or for the partying that follows.
Please keep in mind the Mardi Gras Festival takes place in a neighborhood. Please treat it like your own backyard. Please keep it clean and respectful.
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says the underage drinking task force will be working. Chief Dennis Jenkerson says the fire department will have smaller vehicles in Soulard.
Some of these vehicles are fire suppression vehicles that have special equipment on them where we can get in quick, hopefully do a quick knockdown.
Larger fire apparatus will already be in the neighborhood, and Jenkerson says there are 2 medical tents.
One on Ann and one on Broadway and Lafayette. Those tents are staffed with medical personnel, not only EMS from the St. Louis Fire Department, also from the county, but we also have physicians from the various hospitals around the area who are volunteering to assist us should we have a major trauma.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
You can drive through Soulard this morning with no problems. You will not be able to drive through Soulard tomorrow morning if you're planning to go. I'm sure you've already thought about how you're going to get there and where you will park, etc. In the meantime, let's see if we can get you to work and school on time this morning. Let's get the latest from Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still seeing those delays westbound on Highway 64. Excuse me, all due to an accident at Big Bend, blocking the 2 right lanes there. Then as you backed up to about the Science Center on 64 westbound, northbound 170 looks pretty good, headed towards Highway 270, southbound 170, a little bit of volume ramping onto eastbound Highway 64. That left lane is pretty heavy. Northbound on 270, a little more volume as well from just north of Doherty Ferry up to Manchester Road, and then in pockets headed towards Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 7:50. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
Let's get a check of that AccuWeather forecast for a busy weekend in St. Louis. Joe Lundberg, hopefully you've got some good news for us.
We're going to bookend it with sunshine today and probably later Sunday into Monday, and warmth too. Temperatures getting to 63 today and probably going to be 60 plus Sunday and Monday. It's the middle that's not going to be so nice. Clouds will increase tonight with a low near 40, and a storm will go by to our south tomorrow, but it's going to bring us some rain. That rain could start before lunchtime. Certainly going to be a problem through the afternoon and into the first part of tomorrow night. You could be looking at a half an inch to an inch of rain across the areas. A lot of ponding on streets and highways. The high tomorrow only 48. The rain moves out late tomorrow night. Then the clouds break for some sun Sunday afternoon. We should sneak into the low 60s, mid to upper 60s on Monday with sunshine and some clouds. Tuesday gets a little cloudier, but it stays balmy. Highs well into the 60s. Right now it's 36 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. Partly cloudy and 39 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thank you, Joe. It is now 7:42, and Total Information AM continues.
Joe Potbag of the Hardys, Butler Hills, South County. It is heatupstlouis.org, and I have the pleasure of visiting with St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page, and it's events like this that bring out the best in St. Louis, isn't it?
It sure is. You know, Joe, the government can't do it all. And that's why we need our folks in the community to help us. Heat Up St. Louis really is the cornerstone of our effort to help people with their utility bills. They help folks in Illinois and Missouri. And we're here today to kick off their fundraising, their annual fundraising. We have a lot of corporate sponsors, but we need everyone in the community to stop by Hardee's this morning and pick up a biscuit and make a donation to Heat Up St. Louis and help folks with their utility bills.
It's not a hard thing. We're asking you to buy some food, right, for a great price. But this I think is really what St. Louis is all about. This is a community that digs in, that helps one another, that wants to help itself. And I think this is as good of an example as it gets.
Well, St. Louis is known for standing up for our neighbors, and this is one way we can do that. There are a lot of families who are struggling with their utility bills this winter, and Heat Up St. Louis really helps. And your contributions, all the contributions to Heat Up St. Louis go directly to help people with their utility bills, help keep them in their homes and keep the heat on this winter, and keep these families safe.
I think honestly that's something that maybe people don't realize. They wonder where that money goes. It's not a question with Heat Up St. Louis. That money is staying in the communities, and as Gentry Trotter told us earlier, it literally stays pretty close to where it's donated.
Right. Yeah, this is for the Missouri and Illinois side both, and we'll help families who go through the application process. They demonstrate a need, and we have some criteria that are important to make sure that this money goes to people who need help. But we don't have administrative costs. We get this money into the hands of the people who need it and help them keep their heat on this winter.
St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page with us here this morning. We're at Hardee's, Butler Hills, South County. It's the Rise and Shine fundraiser for heatupstlouis.org. You mentioned the corporate support because it's not just individuals doing this. There's some large checks, large donations coming from places like Ameren, like Commerce Bank, and that's important too.
Right. Ameren's here today. Anthem is here to support. Anthem's here as well. We've got a lot of corporate support. We're grateful for that, for folks stepping up in our community and helping us out.
It's easy to get involved. Obviously, come buy your biscuit. You can drop some money in the can. You can scan the QR code. Lots of ways to do it. Dr. Sam Page, thanks for some time this morning.
Thank you, and thanks for everybody in the community stepping up this morning.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Tonight here on KMOX, it's Billikens basketball. The 18th ranked Bills are in Chicago as they face Loyola Chicago. Billikens are 23-1 and 11-0 in the Atlantic 10. They've won 17 consecutive games. Loyola is just 6-19 overall and 2-10 in the A10. Head coach Josh Schertz talked about the game earlier this week on the Billiken Coaches Show and knows it won't be easy.
Loyola's getting healthy, and that's they're a scary team when they're healthy. Beat Santa Clara. Went on the road and got Rhode Island. It should have beat Dayton the next game, and then they had these injury reports that look like books with how many guys out, and now they're healthy. It's going to be a dangerous game. I'll let Gibbsy be because he's scouting them his opinion, but I think it's going to be a tough one.
It's a 7:30 tip-off, and you'll hear it beginning with the pregame show at 7:15 with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. College basketball last night, SIUE routs Southeast Missouri 74-56 in Edwardsville. Lindenwood knocks off league-leading Tennessee Martin 75-74. Lindenwood, SIUE, and SEMO are all tied at 11-5, just one game back of the leaders in the Ohio Valley Conference. SIUE will have UT Martin Saturday at 3:30 in Edwardsville, while SEMO will be at Lindenwood at 3:30 in St. Charles. Matt Pauley now from spring training as we hear from Chaim Bloom and the status of Lars Nootbaar.
Cardinals pitchers and catchers go through their first official workout yesterday with the first full squad workout scheduled for Monday. One player who will not be there is Lars Nootbaar as he continues his rehab process in California, according to President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom.
There's a part of the progression he's on now involves a piece of equipment that, because of the newness of the complex, we don't have here yet. So we actually want him to complete that progression. So he's going to do that at the facility that he's at in Southern California, and then come here, actually, so we can keep him on track. So he'll be a couple days late.
Even though Newbar will miss the start of camp, they have not yet ruled him out for opening day.
We haven't made that determination yet. He's not going to be ready to play in games when games start here. But beyond that, we don't really have a calendar built out. I think once he's been here for a couple of weeks, we'll probably have a better idea of what that looks like.
Bloom also says that because of catcher Ivan Herrera's rehab from injury, he may not get the insurance waiver he needs to play for Team Panama in the World Baseball Classic. That situation should sort itself out in the next few days. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
In the Olympics,
what if
USA
every time you
men's
spent
hockey
money, you
has
saved
its
money
debut?
too? With
Yeah.
Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It is 7:50. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Michael Calhoun and Frank Ladd, who's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, crews have the incident cleared out of the way. Westbound Highway 64 at Big Bend. All lanes back open there. It's over on the right shoulder. Still seeing a pocket of volume, though, back towards Forest Park, westbound on 64, but that should ease rather quickly. Northbound on Highway 270 this morning, you're off the pace down between Doherty Ferry and Manchester, a little sluggish north of there. Make your way out and up towards Highway 64. The work zone looks good northbound on Highway 55 this morning, starting in South County through South City, as does the drive into downtown St. Louis, westbound 5564, crossing the Poplar Street Bridge, westbound Highway 70, crossing the Neutral. Our next traffic update at 7:58. Frank Ladd, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, it should be really, really nice today and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tomorrow is a crapshoot. Mostly sunny today with a high of 63 degrees. The clouds move in tonight, and so tomorrow, which is, of course, Mardi Gras, Valentine's Day, and St. Louis's birthday, it's going to be cloudy and cooler with periods of rain from late morning on. So plan accordingly. High of 48 degrees, then 63 on Sunday, 67 on Monday, 69 degrees on Tuesday. Currently, we've got sunshine and 33 degrees in downtown St. Louis. The news continues at 7:52. The rise in colon cancer among younger people is back in the news following this week's tragic death of actor James Van Der Beek at the age of 48. We get more from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
Van Der Beek was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2023 when he was just 46 years old. Dr. William Chapman is a WashU colorectal surgeon with Siteman Cancer Center at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
When you think about colon cancer, it is still the most common in folks who are older, 60 and above. But what we have seen over the past several decades is that while the incidence of colon cancer in those older folks is going down, there is a concerning trend in the rise of colon cancer for younger patients.
Still no exact cause for the increase to younger people. It may be due to diet or a more sedentary lifestyle or environmental factors. Dr. Chapman says people at average risk should get their first colonoscopy at age 45, earlier if you have a family history of the disease. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Joe Pod back at the Hardee's in South County on Butler Hill, and I'm with Molly Highland. She's with Commerce Bank, but also a board member of heatupstlouis.org. And Molly, how long have you been involved, and how long has Commerce Bank been involved?
We've just been involved for 4 years, but I feel like we've been involved forever. I mean, it's just a great organization. And, we all know this organization. It's been around for 26 years now. And it's so much a part of the fabric of our community that we got the chance to be involved and become a sponsor of Heat Up St. Louis and their bank, quite frankly. And so we've embraced it. Our employees have embraced it. Our leadership has embraced it, and we're all in.
I feel like you're speaking for St. Louis here, because that's what so much of this community is about, is helping one another. And an organization like Heat Up St. Louis, all of these donations are staying right here in this metropolitan area.
Yes, and for a super community bank like Commerce Bank, that is so important. Our leadership likes to say that we're only as strong as the communities in which we do business. And organizations like Heat Up St. Louis help make St. Louis strong by helping lift up the people who need the help most.
And as we look around, I mean, the restaurant's starting to fill up and with customers, but also with volunteers. So it's exactly as you say.
Oh my gosh, yes, this restaurant is buzzing. As you can tell, it's really loud in here. And, we have volunteers. We have a really robust volunteer program at Commerce Bank, like many organizations do here in St. Louis. Great companies all around town that support this and other events. But I've never seen the enthusiasm for volunteering as much as I have with this event, this one-day event. We have a lot of enthusiastic volunteers, but with this event, everybody is so excited to sign up and show up and collect money for Heat Up St. Louis.
Molly Highland with us from Commerce Bank, also a board member at Heat Up St. Louis. It's really easy for folks to get involved. Obviously, they can come out to Hardee's. They can buy their $1 biscuit. They can donate here, but easier this year, they can scan the code.
Yes, they can scan the QR code on the cans and also on the website. And also you can bring a donation, a cash or check donation to any Commerce Bank anywhere in the St. Louis area.
So not just Hardee's, but Commerce Bank as well. Molly, thanks so much for all that Commerce Bank does, obviously for your hard work. And thanks for taking some time this morning.
Thanks for being here, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Molly Highland with us from Commerce Bank, a board member at Heat Up St. Louis. Lots going on. It is just getting started. There's lots more to come from Hardee's.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty, warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that Big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel and eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Join us on February 15th at Powell Hall as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC brings us Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner, presented by Purina, with special guests Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes and Kennedy Holmes. Experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and mention the KMOX special.
Hey, let's check in right now with Frank Ladd, who's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, W, we still have delays westbound on Highway 64 now, approaching the earlier incident at Big Bend. MoDOT has some vehicles that have now pulled up to the right shoulder, so drivers are dodging out of that right lane to give them room to work with this disabled vehicle that's over on the right shoulder, right at the end of the entrance ramp from Big Bend to westbound Highway 64. So those delays extend back to about the Science Center on westbound 64. You've got pockets of IM now, southbound on 170 between the Parkway and 64. That left lane is pretty heavy through there. Eastbound 64, heavy through the Brentwood area as well, approaching Big Bend. Our next traffic update at 8:10, Frank Ladd, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny 35 downtown at the Arch. Michael Calhoun coming up in the 8 o'clock. Sports betting's been legal in Missouri. We'll talk with an expert who says we already hold the spot for the second highest gross revenue per adult. Also, the weekend isn't just Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day. It's also the city's birthday.
A little before 11:30, we're going to get a whole bunch of people together with the band, and we're going to sing happy birthday to our city to really kick off the weekend in a big party atmosphere.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A nice day today with sunshine and a warmer afternoon, our high 63.
CBS News is next.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. It's been almost 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie disappeared. They haven't named him, but for the first time, investigators do say they have a suspect. The armed, masked man seen on the 84-year-old's doorbell cam video the night she was kidnapped. They're asking for footage from neighbors as well. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti in Tucson.
Investigators are concentrating on a 2-mile radius surrounding Nancy Guthrie's home. They're looking for video from January 31st to February 2nd that may show any vehicle or person that appears out of place.
The FBI has doubled its reward to $100,000. The clock is ticking down to another possible partial government shutdown. Hold up for Democrats, immigration crackdowns. Correspondent Nicole Killian from Capitol Hill.
The Senate tried and failed to pass additional funding in a pair of votes Thursday. Many Democrats oppose additional money for ICE, which is part of DHS, until significant reforms are made to agents' conduct after 2 deadly shootings of U.S. citizens last month in Minneapolis. The potential shutdown could affect a host of other agencies within DHS, including FEMA, TSA, and the Coast Guard.
Hopeful news on consumer prices. They were up 2.4% in January. That is down from 2.7% in the month before and less than analysts expected. Bankrate's Mark Hamrick.
The Fed does not see inflation hitting its 2% annualized target until 2028. And for all of this year, it recently said that it looks for its preferred gauge of inflation to rise about 2.5% in 2026.
Classes at South Carolina State University are canceled today after a deadly shooting on campus last night.
The school says 2 people were killed and 1 was wounded in the shooting at an on-campus apartment. The victims' identities have not been released. The campus was locked down for 8 hours overnight. Sophomore Justin Woods was finally able to return to campus early this morning.
I just want all my fellow students to be safe out there.
After a pair of shootings during homecoming celebrations in October, in which a woman was killed, South Carolina State added more security patrols and more fencing along its perimeter. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
2 Americans, a French astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut, are on their way to the International Space Station this morning.
3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and Godspeed Crew 12.
They blasted off from Cape Canaveral to replace the crew that came home earlier last month when one member developed a medical issue. They're expected to spend at least 8 months at the ISS after they arrive tomorrow afternoon. This is CBS News.
You still got it.
But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
It's 8:03 on Total Information AM. We've got a sunny sky at the moment, 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, and it's the Mardi Gras Grand Parade in Soulard tomorrow. Thousands of people will fill the streets, but if you intend to go, there are some things you need to know.
For one, you cannot drive any kind of vehicle, golf carts, or scooters into the festival area. You also cannot park in Soulard. The parade route is 7th and Broadway to Sydney. Bess McCoy.
You're better off taking a ride share, a taxi, getting a shuttle, using the metro.
4 pedestrian entrances are listed at stlmardigras.org. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says there will be significant police presence.
For an event this size, we also include officers from surrounding agencies with mutual aid. So we'll have St. Louis County Police Department and Missouri State Highway Patrol.
St. Louis Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson says pay attention to your surroundings.
One of our biggest injuries during the Mardi Gras is ankles and feet from people not paying attention to stepping off curbs.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The city of St. Louis is missing about $14 million because thousands of residents are overdue on the water bill.
Special Assistant to the City Water Commission, Spencer Gould, says the number continues to rise. This comes after a temporary pause was lifted on water shutoffs for residents who deferred their payments. A temporary assistance program is now available for most city residents with overdue bills. Gould says the one-time assistance can total $500 for residents who are eligible.
We do have funds going quickly. So we recently expanded our household income, and we're seeing that number go down quick. So I would tell anyone, if they have a delinquent bill or we think this program might assist them, to apply sooner than later before it's all utilized.
Gould says the program could assist up to 2,000 residents, and it's funded by a one-time ARPA allotment. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
Early voting is underway in Chicago. A member of the state Senate says it's time for Illinois to have its own Voting Rights Act as the landmark federal law comes under new scrutiny. Chicago's Jeff Buchholz has that story.
President Johnson signed the Federal Voting Rights Act into law in 1965 as a response to complaints that black and brown voters were being shut out of the electoral process and their votes diluted by being split into multiple districts.
This law will strike down all restrictions used to deny the people the right to vote.
But Chicago State Senate Democrat Graciela Guzman says a decade's worth of Supreme Court rulings have gutted the Voting Rights Act, and Illinois must step in to make sure everyone can be part of the process.
This bill is about fairness, about access, about accountability.
Her Illinois Voting Rights Act would make sure that non-English speakers can get access to an appropriate ballot and that minority communities are not redrawn into other districts.
In Illinois, your voice matters. Your vote matters, and your democracy belongs to you.
Several other states have already passed similar voting rights bills.
Illinois lawmakers also weighing changes to how sports betting is taxed and how it's defined in the state. Glenn Marshall's got that.
House Gaming Committee Chair Daniel Didek has introduced legislation to eliminate the per-bet surcharge placed on mobile sports books. The fee requires operators to pay 25 to 50 cents per wager at the end of each fiscal year. And according to Endgame, the surcharge has generated more than $62 million since it was added to the state's budget last year. Now, Didek is also backing a proposal to expand the definition of sports wagering. The measure would include prediction markets tied to games or even the individual player statistics. That means activities like trading or selling event-based contracts could fall under Illinois sports betting regulations.
Much more on sports betting coming up. Governor Mike Keogh says he's very optimistic about keeping the Royals in Missouri. Washington Square Park, just south of Union Station near Crown Center, has emerged as the leading site contender because it avoids a controversy that killed the previous Crossroads proposal. That failed plan would have meant demolishing historic small businesses. The Washington Square site uses mostly open green space and existing parking lots. The governor tells Fox 2.
I think that's very important to us and to them, and I'm very optimistic that the Royals will continue to call Missouri home.
The site might offer the best path forward now that suburban options have stalled out over tax funding disputes. The KMOX Business Desk, great turnout this morning to help support a local charity.
Well, it's another highly successful Heat Up St. Louis Rise and Shine fundraiser here at Area Hardee's throughout St. Louis on Friday morning. I'm at the South County location, the Butler Hill location, where both Ameren and Spire have given $200,000 donations this morning. And of course, those $1 sausage biscuits, $1 egg biscuits are flying off the shelves here at Hardee's. The drive-thru has been packed. The lobby is packed. It has been a great day, as they say, Friday the 13th, but make it a lucky day. It's the Heat Up St. Louis Rise and Shine fundraiser. I'm Joe Pott, KMOX News.
And we'll get the latest on the traffic and weather together coming up next on Total Information AM.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We'll take you in depth in just a moment and find out how Missouri is leading the nation when it comes to sports betting. It's only been legal for about a couple of months, 2.5 months or so here. So we'll check in with an expert on that in a moment. But first, it is 8:10, so let's get your traffic and weather together. Frank Ladd, what are you seeing from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, Michael, the MoDOT trucks just pulled off the scene now westbound on Highway 64, and they had been blocking the right shoulder at Big Bend. So that's the good news there. And so all lanes back up, and the shoulder's still there. There's a vehicle on the shoulder, but it really shouldn't cause any problem for drivers headed westbound on 64. Still seeing delays westbound on 64 now between about the Science Center and Big Bend. Southbound 170, a little heavy as well. Headed towards Highway 64, that left lane. We are delay-free northbound on Highway 270 now between 55 and 44. A little off the pace now between Manchester and Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 8:20. Frank Ladd, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today and a nice day with a warmer afternoon. The high 63. Clouds will increase tonight, though 40. Tomorrow will be cloudy and noticeably cooler. We'll have rain much of the time from late morning on, the high 48. The rain will continue early tomorrow night before ending late, the low 41. Clouds give way to more and more sunshine Sunday. It turns warmer again, the high 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, taking a look outside the window at Soldiers Memorial. We've got sunshine and standing at 35 degrees downtown at the Arch. Well, good morning. Welcome into Total Information AM. Michael Calhoun in for Megan Lynch on this Friday. And sports betting in Missouri, it's been legal now for about 2.5 months. And for at least one company, Missouri is leading the way. We've got Ryan Butler with Covers.com joining us. So what is DraftKings saying about its launch here in Missouri?
Yeah, so it's one of the latest indicator of a really strong launch month for Missouri sports betting. Missouri was the most recent state in the entire country to legalize sports betting with it beginning December 1st. And now DraftKings yesterday had their publicly traded announcement, their corporate earnings call, and they said Missouri, of the 18 or so states that they have gone live in since 2021, it's been one of their best, some of their strongest strongest results coming from it. It was there. I want to make sure I get this right, but yeah, it's the highest customer acquisition penetration and second highest gross revenue per adult So strong numbers there across the board, and just shows that people have gotten used to sports betting, and Missouri was a really strong launch.
This kind of reminds me of what we heard after recreational marijuana was legalized in the state, and on a per capita basis, the sales were the highest in the country. Sounds like it's similar for this.
Yeah, we saw that too with these numbers that for all companies, not just DraftKings. DraftKings is one of the larger ones, but there was 8 different sports books, and across the board, we saw one of the highest per capita spending percentages per person of any state launch. The most recent was North Carolina a year or two ago. This was significantly higher with it. So one of the biggest questions we looked at is because, in the St. Louis area, you have sports betting in Illinois, over in Kansas City, you have sports betting in Kansas. And the big question we were looking at was, well, are people already betting there? People have already signed up, or is this not going to be a huge launch because people, there's nothing new to attract people? Or is there now this pent-up demand where people who have gotten used to betting in other states are now very excited to come be able to bet from the comfort of home without having to cross state lines? And we definitely saw that latter scenario play out where people were familiar with the sports book. They took advantage of some pretty strong promotional play, and we resulted in these huge numbers.
Of course, we had the Super Bowl just less than a week ago. Kansas City Chiefs, not a part of it this year, but a big event, I assume, for sports betting in Missouri. Any kind of figures you can share?
Yeah, so it's a little too early to tell for Missouri. Typically, with a state like this, it can be maybe weeks until we get a time with it. But yeah, it's always the biggest event of the year. Las Vegas, not surprisingly, and Nevada are the first to come out with it. And again, strong numbers. A little bit down, actually. A lot of the St. Louis people I've talked to in my opportunities in the state have kind of adopted the Chiefs, and them not being, not only not even in the Super Bowl, not even being in the playoffs. That actually definitely hurts Missouri. It really does. You see across the country, whenever the home team is in the Super Bowl, whenever they're playing a big game, the numbers go up pretty substantially.
Of course, we're talking about the hearts of St. Louisans. Spring training has begun this week. Nationally, how big is baseball? I assume football is just far and away the leader. But how big is baseball nationally? And do we expect St. Louis and Missouri to be a bit of an outlier because of the exceptional interest in the Cardinals here?
Yeah, so football, you're absolutely right. Football is king. It is far and away the biggest sport. We've seen across the country, basketball is the second biggest. A lot of that is driven by college basketball, especially March Madness. The Super Bowl is the biggest single sporting event wagered upon, but March Madness is the biggest collective event. Those, first weekend of the March Madness tournament, when everyone's filling out their brackets and the best is almost unprecedented with it. So you see a lot there. And then baseball is a solid third. It's much ahead of hockey or any other sport. And a lot of that is because just there's so many games and there's not a whole lot else with it. But we do see, to your original question, Missouri is just such an excellent baseball state. And obviously the Cardinals in particular, 100 plus years, and as they like to know, the best fans in baseball. So it wouldn't surprise me. In North Carolina, we saw, probably disproportionate interest in college basketball. Over in Oregon, where they don't have an NFL team, but an NBA team, we've seen disproportionate interest in NBA betting. And it would not surprise me at all. Now, again, a lot of it is the success of the team. If the Cardinals, which they might be set up for a bad year this year, with some of their offseason moves, if they have a bad one, that hurts it. But there's still going to be interest there. And again, if the Royals, who've been, better in recent seasons, if they have a good season, that'll also spark more interest with it.
Voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history. From moment to memory.
President George Bush is on his way to St. Louis right now.
Among those voices, Ron Jacober.
Welcome back to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes, Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Well, it's 8:18 on Total Information AM. We have reestablished contact with Ryan Butler at Covers.com, and we're talking about now the tax revenues when it comes to sports betting to the state of Missouri, since this has been legal since December 1st. Has it been a windfall for Missouri?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an abnormality this year, or excuse me, this first month. So we did get the first numbers. There was about $540 million bet overall. That's what we call handles. That's the total number of bets. But with that actually, the sportsbooks lost money off of all those bets. And that is an abnormal occasion. And that is because those sportsbooks gave away so many free bets and promotions. I mean, to the tune of $100+ million in just giveaways with it. So they actually ended up losing money. And because they lost money and because of Missouri law, it's based off of your revenue, not necessarily your income. It's how much money you made is what you're taxing. Because the sportsbooks lost money, there wasn't a whole lot of tax revenue generated for the state this month. Now, that's, again, is an exception. That is because we are seeing that launch, and this is very much expected, where the sportsbooks are basically giving away money with some of these bets and promotions, and then I'll start changing around. So, again, overall for the 2026, somewhere $20, $30, $40 million in tax revenue, somewhere around that. It'll be seasonal and fluctuate and all that. Again, it's better than nothing, but it's not going to necessarily change anything.
And just to follow up on, something that was national news, the latest betting scandal, the NCAA President Charlie Baker had a request for some states, including Missouri Gaming Commission. What was the issue, and what did they ultimately decide with that?
Yeah, actually, I commend the Missouri Gaming Commission for jumping on that very quickly. He asked there's 39 states now that have legal sports betting, 31 that allow you to bet on your phone from anywhere in the state. And Missouri was one of the very first to respond to it. They saw it as an issue. The question was what we call individual player prop bets. So instead of which team will win or how many points the teams will score, this is how many points will an individual score? How many yards will somebody throw for? How many rushing yards? How many receptions? How many home runs will they hit in the game? Things like that. Player prop bets. And so for the college level, there is a lot of concern, and you addressed it. Charlie Baker, president at the NCAA, which is in charge of all that, there's a lot of concern these are more manipulatable, that these are technically still student athletes. I have a whole bigger can of worms about everything's going on there. There's a lot of concern with it. Ultimately, the Missouri Gaming Commission decided not to take any action. There is concerns that by banning this, it actually gets counterintuitive because it brings people to the black market. In Missouri, as across the country, we still see hundreds of what we call offshore or illegal sports books that are offering these bets. And the idea is that the only really way to catch some of these scandals is through the regulated market. It is impressive that there's these companies that, can check every single data point of every single game, even the propensity for referees to make certain calls, and then they can then cross-reference that against people's betting habits. If all of a sudden someone who's spending, $10 every Sunday to bet on the Chiefs, if he then drops $10,000 on, a college basketball player to score fewer points, then that immediately raises suspicion. And so that's the argument there, is that the regulated market is the only way to counter this. And that is ultimately the kind of decision that Missouri regulators went with for now. But they did say that, things change. They will be considering to monitor this.
We're about halfway through the Olympics. Is that a big deal for betting? Do people put a lot of wagers down on what's happening in Milan Cortina right now?
Yeah, actually, no. It is a small fraction of the overall handle. You get maybe a little bit of interest in the U.S. men's hockey team. But, Missouri has a decent amount of options, but a lot of states even ban judge-based sports. They ban non-team sports. There's a lot of restrictions, and people aren't super familiar with a lot of these athletes, a lot of these sports, people don't know. So, no, it will be a very, very small percentage of the betting handle.
Ryan Butler with Covers.com. Thank you so much for explaining all this to us. We appreciate it.
Always happy to be on. Thanks for having me.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
get you traffic and weather right now. Frank Ladd, what are you seeing from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Michael, still seeing those delays westbound on Highway 64 passing Forest Park up to about McCausland now. It's a new incident on the McCausland overpass blocking the right lane. That's what's slowing you down on westbound 64. Our next traffic update at 8:30. Frank Ladd, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Frank. Let's take a look at that forecast for this big weekend in St. Louis. First of all, today it's going to be nice. High of 63, lots of sun. Overnight tonight, low 40. For tomorrow, cloudy and cooler, and we've got some periods of rain from late morning on. Hopefully comes after that Mardi Gras parade steps off at 11 a.m. High tomorrow, 48. So also wear a jacket if you're headed to Soulard or out for Valentine's Day plans or celebrating the city of St. Louis's birthday, as we'll hear in just a moment. Periods of rain tomorrow night, low 41. And for Sunday, 63. Monday and Tuesday, close to 70. Right now, it's a sunny sky, 37 downtown at the Arch. Well, as we continue on KMOX, Total Information AM, Michael Calhoun in for Megan Lynch this morning, and we're celebrating all over St. Louis this weekend. Of course, we've told you all about Mardi Gras in Soulard. It is appropriate that one of our biggest celebrations in town comes on the city of St. Louis's birthday, which also happens to be Valentine's Day, and the Missouri History Museum is celebrating with a 2-day St. Louis Birthday Bash. Joining us now on KMOX is the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Missouri Historical Society, Lindsay Newton. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, Lindsay.
Of course, thank you.
So tell us, this kicks off on Saturday morning with kind of a Mardi Gras feel. You've got a red and black brass band.
Yeah, that's right. The red and black brass band will be here right when we open at 10 a.m. You'll get to hear lots of that big brass sound. And at the end of their set, just a little before 11:30, we're going to get a whole bunch of people together with the band, and we're going to sing happy birthday to our city to really kick off the weekend in a big party atmosphere.
Sounds amazing. What happens after that? This is both Saturday and Sunday, right?
That's right. All day long, we've got activities both days from 10 to 5 right here in Missouri History Museum in Forest Park. We've got something for everybody. If you like to hear the stories about St. Louis's history, we're going to be telling them in bite-sized chunks every hour with history talks. There's going to be vintage yard games, those St. Louis classic games like washers and cornhole and ladder golf. We have local makers selling their wares and some really great food vendors. And the Getty's serving our, St. Louis Italian classic food. We've got Salt and Smoke serving up barbecue all weekend. And if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you'll definitely want to check out Bougie Bites. They'll have all the vegan food to eat. So something for everybody, even bring the family. There's crafts and all kinds of things for kids to do as well.
Yeah, one caught my eye. The president of the Historical Society, Jody Sowles, a great storyteller, taking a walk through St. Louis history, introducing us to a St. Louis we've never met.
Right. This weekend, we're really all about sort of our mission these days is about expanding the narrative of St. Louis, recognizing that our city is not just this place where things have happened in the past. Yes, some really big historical things have happened, and we tell those stories. But we're also really shining a light on how St. Louis has been this place filled with people who've made a difference, overcome challenges, and we continue to shape the nation's cultural, economic, and social fabric.
Just talking about, of course, everybody's attention on the Olympics now. That reminds us of 1904 when the first American Olympics were here. And you can't talk St. Louis history without 1904, the World's Fair, of course.
Yes. And you'll hear about that in Dr. Zhou's talk. St. Louis stole the first Olympics. They were set to happen in Chicago. And because we were having the World's Fair, we made the case that they should be here. And that's what happened. So you get to hear that story, as well as stories like how the Rockettes first started kicking here in St. Louis, how St. Louis taught the world how to cook when Irma Braunbauer's Joy of Cooking book was authored. Just a lot of really great St. Louis moments that we'll be celebrating all weekend long.
And it all caps off with a film screening, it looks like. What's the documentary about?
Yeah, we're showing the film Crossroads of a Nation on Sunday at 3 p.m. This is a second part of a 3-part series that we're working with the Missouri Humanities Council on. And it's really looking at the state of Missouri and how in honor of, in commemoration of America at 250 this year in 2026, what influences we had here in Missouri. And this one's really focusing on the rifts, roads, and civil rights. So thinking about that time period from the Civil War all the way through the Civil Rights era.
Well, go to mohistory.org for the complete schedule. If you're interested in the great big T-Rav remix that is tonight, it looks like that is sold out, but there is a whole schedule of events for the weekend to check out and put on your calendar. Lindsay Newton, the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Missouri Historical Society. Thank you so much for getting us up to speed on KMOX. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It seems like this weather is going to continue. The cold weather is going to continue here in St. Louis and Illinois for the foreseeable future to finish out the winter. Now, if you have been unlucky or you don't want to wait till you're unlucky and you need your furnace fixed or even replaced, call me. We can get you a furnace next day. Sometimes we, depending on the manufacturer, it's not us, but just depending on the manufacturer, if they have the parts available and here in St. Louis or Illinois, we can get you that day. But either way, if you're having problems with the furnace or you want to prevent problems with the furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois, just one number. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's Bart Inman. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar and I have not smoked a cigarette since I left. My best friend came with me and neither one of us smoked. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend. None of them have smoked a cigarette. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar back at February 12, 2015, the Stop Smoking, and it worked. I'm coming up on 11 years. A friend of mine also went in October of 2015, and he still no longer smokes. This is after, for myself, almost 30 years of smoking, and it was just amazing.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking or your money back. Only $59.99. That's right, Weight Loss Hypnosis, Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop Smoking Hypnosis 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Bottom of the hour, let's get you to Frank Ladd, find out what's happening on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Westbound 64 is slowing now west of Hampton, headed out to an accident at McCausland. The right lane is blocked there. Drivers are dodging out of that right lane to get around the accident scene. West of there, headed up towards Big Bend, you open back up on westbound 64. Our next update at 8:40, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Forecast for this afternoon, we've got a high temperature of 63 degrees. Sun should be out. Tonight, increasing clouds, low of about 40. For tomorrow, much cooler, periods of rain from late morning on, and a high of 48 degrees. Right now, sunshine 38 downtown at the Arch. Well, as Total Information AM rolls on here on KMOX, we're getting into a holiday weekend, and that means we should check on the price of gas. Joining us right now is AAA's Nick Chabaria with the statewide average here in Missouri. Good morning, Nick, and what is that number?
Hey, good morning. It's great to be on. Gas prices right now around the Show Me State are sitting around $2.53 per gallon. That's up slightly on the week, but still well below where we were this time last year. About 32 cents is what drivers are saving at the pump compared to this time in 2025.
What's the national average, or what are some of our neighboring areas? Kind of put this into a little bit of context for us.
Yeah, Missouri, no surprises. It sits well below the national average currently. The national average is $2.94. And that also puts Missouri within the top 10 cheapest statewide averages around the country. It's not unusual that we fall into that bucket. It's really because of our geographic location, as well as our relatively lower gas taxes compared to other states.
Now, Nick, as we talk about folks hitting the road, getting in the car, and going on a little trip, AAA did a survey. This year is the centennial of Route 66, and a lot of people plan to commemorate it somehow.
Yeah, if you haven't heard about the Route 66 Centennial celebration going on this year, you likely will see or hear about it very soon. This is 100 years of Route 66 being in commission, and what a great chance to celebrate such a historic route that runs right through our backyard. AAA survey actually found that about 40% of Americans will plan to cruise Route 66 during the centennial, which of course for KMOX listeners is not too difficult to do living so close.
Yeah, taking a look at the top 10 landmarks along Route 66 that people have on their itineraries. I see 2 in the St. Louis region out of those top 10.
Yeah, of course, the Gateway Arch, always a must stop for those traveling the route. And then also Merrimack Caverns, of course, has been around for a long time, and many, family memories have been made there. So 2 of the more popular stops in our state. And of course, we know the route runs from Chicago to Santa Monica. And there's going to be celebrations in different areas, different towns all throughout 2026. Springfield, Missouri was selected by America's Route 66 Centennial Celebration Association as the flagship kickoff for that 100-year celebration. And that'll be starting on April 30th in Springfield, Missouri. Looks like it's going to be a great event. AAA will be there, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, of course, AAA has a whole centennial webpage to get you up to speed on what you need to know for the Route 66 celebration. Well, thank you so much, Nick Chabaria from AAA, for getting us ready for this weekend and for this big celebration. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Every morning, we rise and shine. Make breakfast and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Let's get a check of your money right now, sponsored by Eamon Gettner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
There's so many major events in the sports world this year, from the Milan Olympics happening right now to the World Cup, and travelers are on the move. Airbnb issued an upbeat revenue outlook, with the home rental platform seeing strong travel demand ahead. Last year, Airbnb introduced the Reserve Now, Pay Later option that has been pretty popular and helped boost bookings last quarter. Airbnb says it plans to roll out more artificial intelligence features and has pledged to improve the search experience for customers. Checking on your money, stocks are ticking lower this morning as traders get ready for inflation data that will be released before the opening bell. And Hasbro is moving away from traditional toys and focusing even more on video games and the collector card game Magic: The Gathering. The toy maker says collector and adult-oriented businesses tend not to be exposed to tariffs. Imported toys for children have tariffs above 20%. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Jefferson Starship, the Runaway Again Tour. Saturday, September 26th, the Family Arena. Also featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans. Reserve seats on sale Friday at noon at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Jefferson Starship, featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans. Jefferson Starship, the Runaway Again Tour. Saturday, September 26th, the Family Arena. Also featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Jefferson Starship, featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section, Firefall, and Orleans.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
2 St. Louis icons, 1 legendary tribute. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC at Powell Hall on Sunday, February 15th for Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner. Presented by Purina, with performances by special guests including conductor Anthony Parthener, Grammy Award-winning artist Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes, and our city's own Kennedy Homes. This is your chance to experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
Frank Ladd, how's it looking from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, Michael, we've got more emergency vehicles on the scene now, westbound Highway 64 at this crash on the McCausland overpass, still blocking that right lane. So it's a tight squeeze in those 2 left lanes. That has you backed up westbound on Highway 64 now to about Hampton. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Happy Friday, St. Louis. It's the Hancock and Kelly Show here on KMOX. Good morning, John Hancock.
What's cooking, big boy?
Not much, man. I saw you on Super Bowl Sunday. You were preaching up in North City. You did an incredible job.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
How often do you get to preach?
Yeah, every other month, probably.
Yeah, about once a quarter?
Yeah.
Impressive. Hey, man, so much to talk about. It's impossible for us to pick the topics, but let's start with something local.
All right.
Well, this is a national story as well. It's happening across the country. There's this push to build data centers across the country. There must be a dozen or so data centers proposed just here in the St. Louis region, whether it be in some of the further out counties, all the way into to the Armory in the city of St. Louis. On Wednesday, they had a hearing about the potential data center that was going to take place at the Armory. And a huge crowd showed up, John, and they've got 3 concerns. Number 1 is power.
Right.
Number 2 is water. And number 3 is, what is this? What do data centers mean? Just, this general paranoia that exists. And what I don't understand is even if we did not build one more data center in this country, do you realize what humanity will be chasing next year and for the next 100 years?
What's that?
Power.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason we can't go to Mars right now is we haven't figured out how we're going to do it power-wise, et cetera. So this idea that power is the problem, I mean, we're always going to be looking to make more power.
I think the concern is the consumer cost. If these things come in and they're sapping a whole bunch of energy, is that going to drive up the energy rates for everybody else? And I think there's mixed results. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But yes, in terms of the need for energy, electricity, that's going to be ever increasing throughout the world, throughout the globe. It's why one of the reasons why Governor Kehoe, in his State of the State message this year, was really pushing the expansion of nuclear energy in Missouri.
So then the second concern was water. Well, come on. Seriously, here in St. Louis, we're concerned about water. and we've got some of the best water in the country. I think we're only using 30% of the capacity that exists inside the city of St. Louis. We're worried about water.
Well, and the water concern is less of a concern because they're now building these things with what they call closed looped systems.
Mm-hmm.
So they're recycling the same water over and over again. So the long-term implications on water are actually pretty minimal.
So then the next thing is there's a conversation about the tax dollars that it brings to the city of St. Louis. And it's significant. It's millions upon millions. And here's the other thing I learned this week. Did you know that there's data centers already in downtown St. Louis that take up entire buildings?
Have been there for years.
Yeah.
Some of them.
And now we're all concerned about these data centers. It just doesn't make any sense to me why a city that literally has 9 of its skyscrapers right now in receivership
and vacant
because we don't have revenue to be able to get this place to work, why we wouldn't be opening these. I got to tell you, I'd like them to build a 40-story data center over at Southwestern Bell. I mean, the amount of money that would bring into this city for our schools, for our roads, for our... Yet you go over to City Hall today or any other conversation, they're trying to stop these from happening. They're trying to say, no, the railroad should go through Chicago. This is idiotic.
Yeah, I think, and you don't see any kind of incentives required for these things. The folks that are building the data centers don't need tax incentives. Money's not the issue for them. The capacity is the issue for them. And, you look at the Armory facility. They originally came out. The original proposal was they were going to put the data center in the Armory building. And there was concern, I think legitimate, that we had just given tax incentives to the developer to remodel the interior of the Armory. It was beautiful. And then the developer goes under. And so you've got this facility sitting there, and they said, okay, it's empty. It'd be a possible data center. There was public concern about that. So they went and reconfigured the proposal, and now they're turning that Armory building that's all tricked out and beautiful inside, marble and so forth, and they're going to turn it into Class A office space for a couple hundred people, not related to the data center, but they're going to put the data center into the old famous bar warehouse that has been sitting vacant for
decades upon decades, since the 90s.
Probably. And if you're going to have a data center in there, and each one of those computing units is taxed individually under the personal property tax that businesses will pay for.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've come back, they listened to the community concerns, and they came back and they put a proposal on the table that is going to yield hundreds of millions of dollars for the city of St. Louis and the schools.
But isn't it disappointing to hear these? It often makes me wonder if some members of the Board of Aldermen even live in St. Louis, if they actually are observing what's going on, the fact that population is fleeing, revenue's going down, downtown's losing tenants. We have all these buildings. We have no revenue. Look, do I think data centers are the greatest thing in the world? No, but I got to tell you, they didn't think railroads were the greatest thing in the world. It was the future. When railroads came, we wouldn't build the bridge across the river. And as a result, the railroads went through Chicago. You look at this is what's going to run the global economy.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't it be run out of St. Louis?
Yeah, I think St. Louis is a natural fit for this. And so many communities are rejecting these things because of the fear of the unknown. And this is an opportunity for the city to get some much needed revenue in place and deal with an increasing problem of vacancy in these office buildings. What did I see the other day? Our vacancy rate is like 39% or something.
It's insane. It's just so sad what's happening to St. Louis, and the idea that we're making even bigger barriers for people to bring revenue and opportunity to St. Louis makes no sense to me.
But for the expansion of Ballpark Village and whatever's going on at the Millennium site, I can't think of any other large-scale private sector things that have been going on in St. Louis in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And, I could have missed something, but, and the Millennial is, that's a government project. Right. Ballpark Village was privately funded, but, the city needs to have vibrant economic activity that brings people down to go to work, so that there's a critical mass of people that are walking around on the streets at lunchtime. And, that in and of itself makes the city more safe if you've got an abundance of people congregated. I think the data centers, they're not the total solution to the problem of the city, but it sure does provide a funding source.
Well, it surely shouldn't be something they're looking the other way on. And the opportunities, both financially through jobs, construction, and they already exist here. We're having this conversation like it's the boogeyman. We've got one right across the street from where we're sitting right now. It's a 10-story data center that's paying some serious tax revenue so that our schools can function.
Yeah, you were saying that we have, like 7 or 8 of these things throughout the city limits.
Big ones. You've got them out in Chesterfield. You've got them. They're everywhere. If you've got a business of certain substance, the hospitals, for instance, you have to have these data centers to be able to operate. There's a data center right now that operates a major hospital system right here in Chesterfield, Missouri. There's no outrage. And guess what? They're paying a lot of tax dollars and it's going in. Why the city of St. Louis, that's going broke, can't pave the roads, can't police the streets because we don't have revenue, are going to tell the data centers to go elsewhere? It's nonsense.
That's Michael Kelly. I'm John Hancock. It's the voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly sunny and pleasant today and turning milder this afternoon, high 63. Increasing clouds tonight, low 40. Cloudy and much cooler tomorrow with rain from late morning on, high 48. We'll have rain tomorrow night, ending late, the low 41. Sunday, clouds break for sunshine. It turns warmer again, the high 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, we're the home run hitters you need. Morgan & Morgan, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America's Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert.
It'll be fun about those clouds, I'm telling you, baby.
With the songs you know by heart.
You can see now.
One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
100 years, one legendary voice. Relive KMOX's century of service, classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
You're listening to the Hancock and Kelly Show on KMOX. We'll take you to the top of the hour, then we'll stick around with Amy and Chris. And John, I'm sure you watched the Attorney General's performance in front of Congress this previous week.
I failed to catch all 5 hours of it, but I saw the highlights.
I got depressed, and the reason I got depressed is, yes, she acted a fool, and but we've lost decorum. We've lost an ability to have a conversation. I used to like when I was a kid watching prime minister's questions on C-SPAN because those people acted a fool.
Right.
Well, that's now our government. We had an attorney general saying, no, I'm not going to do this. The Dow's over 50,000 and you're this and you're not a lawyer. What's going on? And is that part of the reason the president's approval rating is just going through the floor?
Well, I think the economy probably has more to do with the approval rating at this point and some of the ICE excesses. But this lack of decorum, as you say, is more pronounced now than it has been. But these congressional hearings going back more than a decade have been performative art, with both parties. But yes, I thought what the Attorney General Pam Bondi did for 5 hours on, what was that, Monday? Yeah, it was Monday of this week. Was sad because there are very serious, legitimate issues that she is dealing with, not the least of which is what's up with the Epstein files. Why don't we have those 3 million documents? Why are there things redacted that shouldn't be? Why are there names disclosed that shouldn't be? And she didn't answer those questions. And I look back, and whether it be Bill Barr or John Ashcroft, who was the Attorney General of this nation under George W. Bush, Eric Holder,
Eric Garland, they all have to go and answer questions.
They do. And this performance by Pam Bondi was unlike the performance of any of those predecessors. And it's entirely possible that this is what our politics has become, and it's not going to change. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I pray you're wrong because I'm thinking about the State of the Union that's coming up, and Donald Trump will continue to do his bombastic personal attacks. And I'm just hopeful that my party can find a way to sit there quietly because we've got to be able to resume some decorum and some of the majesty that existed behind this government. I think of the days when I was just becoming politically aware, watching Ronald Reagan walk in there, who my family had taught me was the worst human being on the planet.
Yeah.
But to see him taught with respect, treated with respect and decorum, and vice versa. Those days are gone, and it can't be this way. This is not the way that you run a railroad. This is the way that you ruin a democracy.
Well, we've either entered a new era for America, or we're going to be the public, and ultimately it's in the hands of the voters. The public will be so repulsed by the tone and tenor of our politics that there's a rejection of it and a reaction to it. It's one of those two things is going to happen. I fear that the electorate on the whole doesn't mind these kinds of theatrics, and some rather enjoy them and find them entertaining.
The president's polling's just it's plummeting. In fact, there was a poll that came out this week that people said they preferred Joe Biden over Donald Trump. That was not the case
ever.
It's almost it is an inverse, and now we find ourselves in a place where, and he's not recalibrating. He has to know that he's going to get slaughtered in the upcoming elections, yet he's not changing behavior.
Yes, well, and I don't know how much countervailing voices he hears, though. I mean, his folks that are in his ear may be telling him that, man, you're doing great, Donald, keep it up. I rather suspect that's the case with this particular cabinet.
Well, that's it for us, brother. We're going to step aside and bring in Amy and Chris.
Chris and Amy are going to be next. We'll join them for the first hour right here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
February is American Heart Month. American Heart Month began in 1964 as a national call to take charge of your heart health. The American Heart Association invites you to join the nation of lifesavers by learning CPR. Knowing CPR offers the ability to be a first responder until professional help arrives. Ordinary people have extraordinary power. Find out more at heart.org. I'm Margie Schaefer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.